Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're listening to the What It Do podcast.
I pump a well up in Brock, and I saw it on the way going up there, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop by there before I make myself get back to Angelo. And I was coming back around, and I passed it. I'm like, nah, I don't need to be buying anything, so I just kept going. And I was like, I started taking off, and I'm like, nah, God, I'm gonna regret it. So I pulled over, busted a U, and I went back, man. And I bought our last guest, Brian Duffy. He owns Third Picks, and he got me into this whole. I mean, after the last time we had him on, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go thrifting. I'm gonna start doing that. So my problem is that I find stuff, and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. But I don't want to keep it. I don't want to sell it. So, if you what's called in my truck, I got a table, an old table. It's pretty cool. It's got like this floral design up on top.
Okay.
I haven't unloaded it yet because I don't see the wife to see it yet. Because she's like, I want it because it's cool looking. It's really cool looking. And then some other stuff, but.
Okay, so you went shopping.
Yeah, I went shopping. I went shopping. And then I bought these because I'm like, oh man, we can resell these. And I'm like, no, those will look cool in the studio.
It was calling out to you, Oscar.
Yeah. So that's my problem. My problem, I can never.
Jobu.
Yeah. Well, we can give them names. Or they'll tell us what their names are.
Is everybody pretty sensitive?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good deal. I brought you a hat from your favorite barbecue place.
That's nice. I hope it's as good as its food.
Oh my gosh.
Terry Black's.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty cool.
It was.
How was the food this time?
It's fucking amazing. It's always good. I love that place. Of course, I like the dino rib. I mean, that thing is so good. And when you go, sometimes it's sold out. So if it's there, you get it.
Does it look like the dino rib on the Flintstones?
On the Flintstones, exactly like
just
that.
Like that?
Just like
Just
that.
like that?
Yeah, they just pull the meat off the rib. I like that.
It falls off the bone for the most part.
Best.
Yeah. But it's like so the dino rib is probably about that big, and it's like a chunk of meat on there about that thick that runs the length of it, and it's just like my wife got 3 slices of brisket. I got the dino rib, and I cut a chunk off of it, and I gave it to her. And then I'm sitting there just eating, going,
Go ahead.
And I look up at her, and she's like, I'm full already. I'm like, man, you haven't even touched your brisket. I was like, what did you eat? She was like, I just ate that piece that you gave me. And I was like, and you're full already? She was like, yeah. She was like, you ate all of that? And I was like, well, yeah. He was like, can I have some of your brisket too?
That's funny.
It was so
just
good,
imagine she's like, I'm full. You look up and you just got barbecue sauce. Right? Huh? What do you mean you're full?
Do you want more?
Right. Full carnivore over there.
It was good though.
I have to get a chance
Their
to go.
parking sucks. If there's one thing to complain about is their parking sucks. Have you ever been to Terry Black's in Austin?
No,
Such a good place, but it's so popular. I mean, if you don't get there early, you can just you pull in the parking lot, and it's terrible because there's so much pedestrian traffic. So you got to watch for people walking by, cars coming in and out, people standing in line. You know what I mean? So there's like a whole bunch of things, bikes going by, all kinds of shit. And so you pull in, there's a little bit of parking. There's probably maybe 10 or 15 spaces on your right, maybe 10 or 15 spaces on your left. And then it makes like a U, and there's maybe about 10 spaces here. And then you come back the other direction, and there's probably about maybe 10 or 15 spaces on your left-hand side and maybe 4 or 5 spaces on your right-hand side. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You make the food sound good, but you make the experience sound horrible.
Well, the parking sucks. The parking does suck. Yeah. But it's worth it, though.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
I got to make it. I mean, they're all Joe Rogan listeners. Everybody knows.
I mean, that definitely helped them a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't lying. It's not like he was lying about it. It's pretty damn good.
God, man, I've had a lot of good barbecue. So, I mean, I got to try it. I talk crap about it all the time because it's.
So I bought him a hat.
Yeah, they bought me a hat. But like I said, I've had a lot of good barbecue. I got to try it before I even talk anymore. I just got to go try it.
I like that we all brought something like it's show and tell.
Show and tell, man.
Right? I brought this.
Oh yeah, Tiffany was at
a horror con.
Horror con.
A what con?
A horror con. Texas Frightmare in Arlington or in Irving. was dope.
Man, that picture of Jack Nicholson looks sweet.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Check it out,
So
y'all.
good.
Look at that.
That's my Joker.
I know. I was like, dude, they had all of them, but I was like, oh, this one's calling me more.
no better, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I grew up with that guy, and it's like his laugh.
Yeah.
And I think did he just shoot that before or after The Shining?
After.
I don't know, but I got
After-
The Shining right underneath
The
it.
Shining
I
was
know The Shining is so good.
The Shining was like in the late 70s.
Oh, that's
Oh, was it really?
yeah. And then that was early 80s was Batman.
How does he still look old in the 70s? Jack Nicholson. Gosh. Some bad genes, brother.
I was telling Tiffany, I was like, the only other actor I would really like to see play the Joker,
Uh-huh.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I
Oh.
can totally see that.
Yeah.
I think he would be good.
Yeah.
I think he would be really
I love
good.
William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he'd be good.
Yeah.
He's got the smile.
Oh,
Yeah, he
yeah,
does.
for sure. That's what I think made Jack Nicholson
Yeah, yeah.
a good Joker. 'cause
That
he had
smile.
the
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah.
Smile.
His son's got it too. The
Yes.
same smile.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Oh,
Came out in the
Yes.
movie Smile too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He sure does.
Yeah.
I was like,
We should introduce our guests.
yeah. But welcome to another episode of the What to Do podcast.
Late night.
Yeah,
Late night.
Late night.
Hey guys, welcome back to the What to Do podcast. Today in the studio, Miss
Veronica Aguero.
Veronica Aguero.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Aguero.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
From the.
I'm actually the owner of V-Pop Scenario, but
Okay.
I also used to be part owner and still help with the art shows over at the Nada Artisan Boutique. So.
Oh wow, awesome! I can't even. I've been there. I was there for Mother's Day. Y'all were having some pop up
Oh,
stuff out
yes.
there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Row.
I haven't been.
You haven't been
Haven't
to
been.
places. It's.
It's so cool.
I feel like I was in Austin.
Okay.
Yes.
It
And
was-
we've had so many people tell us that.
Yes.
They're like, this place makes us feel like we're in Austin.
Yeah. Such a cool shop, man.
Yeah.
Like I would hit up all the tents outside, and then I went through the back door, and they had a bunch of stuff in there, man. We also my kids, they went ham because we were buying stuff for Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
They're like, "Can we get this? Can we get this?" And I was like, "If it's in the bag, let's
It's got to
do
be
it,"
for
you
your
know?
mom, not for you.
Right?
Yeah, so that's where it kind of was. And then the gift bags were hilarious. They were in the hallway.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they had some cuss words. It was like, "I
Oh,
love
okay,
you, B,"
okay.
and something like that.
Yeah,
And-
we're a little out there. And like part of it is we work with a lot of artists here,
Okay.
except we don't put sensory on it. So some of the
That's
art,
better.
Oh yeah.
is some of the art
It's
gets a
authentic.
little out there. Oh yeah, and it's awesome art.
Yeah.
We can't complain. But
Where is it located at?
it's over on 3308 West Beauregard,
West Beauregard.
right across from the old HEB.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
got a huge Selena mural on the side.
Oh,
that
I've seen it then.
Inks
Okay,
did for
okay.
us, yeah.
Man, Inks. Shout out to
Dude.
Inks. That
Yes.
dude's he's a
That's
goat.
Work, man.
Yeah.
He
has
really
been
is.
insane.
He really is.
Man.
That last one he did, man, the
With
crab.
Oh
Crap.
yes. Oh,
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
like,
golly.
bro, that
Talented.
dude,
Talented.
it is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
And he's
With
working
the-
on another one right now.
Is he?
Oh, he's
When is he not working right
Yeah, he's
now?
nonstop,
Nonstop.
man.
But I like with the spray can. You do that with the spray can.
Spray can.
How is that right? I mean, yeah.
It's
Oscars
talent.
is like blow.
Yeah.
mind
Hard work
blowing.
and talent
Yep.
for sure. I mean, look, he's constantly doing it. So I mean, he's
Oh, yeah.
always going to get better.
That's true. That's
He's
true.
always going to get better.
Yep.
I'm sure he sees things that we don't see. We're like, man, that's so good. And he's like, well, you know,
Oh well, yeah, man. You're an artist, man. You're doing your own
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're your biggest
you
critic.
see, yeah,
Biggest critic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang.
But yeah.
I think he's a goat though.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
yeah, most definitely.
100%.
But yeah, no, like dude, that shop is it's crazy because we walked. What is it? A 3-bedroom? No, it's a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, 3-bedroom.
It's a 3-bedroom. Okay,
Yeah.
dude, there's so much stuff on the walls. I mean, literally, it was just it's
So it was an old house or something. That, Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
And before we moved into it, it was actually a hair salon
Oh, okay.
before. And then
Oh
it's
yeah, I
a-
remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did a hair salon.
I'm
out
gonna
of
have
that
to swing
place.
by there.
Actually, that's how we found out because the lady that used to work there used to do my hair, and
Okay.
when they were moving, they got a bigger place, and she was like, "Hey, we're about to leave. Do y'all want this?" Because we were over on North Chadburn,
Okay.
and the parking there was just awful, and so we were like, "Yeah, we'll do it," and we did it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just painted
See, we're
some
working
walls,
out.
and yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like we get such good support from the community that it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
That is cool.
because
though.
it's rough. Like being an art place, you know, because a lot of because we have different vendors in there too. So a lot of the vendors are local. We have somebody that makes soaps and candles, somebody that makes T-shirts, people that make jewelry. Again, like the artists, all local, and just almost everything is handmade. Very rarely you'll have like wholesale items, but almost everything is made here locally in San Angelo.
San Angelo's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of talent
there's
here.
a lot of talent. Yep.
That's what annoys me. People say there's nothing to do here.
Me
Man,
too.
get out.
I get
Get out
so
and find
upset
stuff,
when I
man.
hear that.
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on around here. You're recluse to your own house.
Yeah.
You want the fun to come to you. You got to go to the fun.
And we're actually having an art show this weekend, and it's David Lynch themed.
Okay.
So that's going to be cool.
That'll be
It'll
cool.
That's
on
what I
Saturday,
really
yeah.
like about
we like
Denali.
to
They
do-
always have art shows and stuff going on.
And we like to put a little theme to it. Like the last one, we've done like a Studio Ghibli art show. For Halloween, we did one where it was what would we call it? It was all horror though, but it's just put, the artists put their own twist to it. And we did a Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino.
I saw that. That was
art
like
show.
really
Oh
good,
my
yeah.
gosh, that art show was amazing.
That's awesome.
It was amazing, yeah. So
I missed that. I wish I could have went to that one.
Yeah.
That would've
yeah,
been
it was
cool.
it was so cool. A lot of the artists
Who
sold their
comes up-
stuff there.
Who comes up with the ideas for the theme?
My sister and my
Okay.
brother-in-law. Yeah, they
That's
come
cool.
up with the themes now. So
Oh, that's
Yep.
kind of cool, man.
yeah, it's
Like,
cool.
what's that?
What a fun job.
Yeah, I know,
It
right?
really is.
Yeah, you get to open up a shop and do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
It really is, and we get to play our own music. Like we go anywhere from sometimes it's K-pop, sometimes
Yeah.
it's Selena, sometimes we're throwing Tupac in there, oldies. It's just
Yeah.
like whatever. Sometimes you gotta play the music for the customers.
Yeah.
And for us, we're like, you know what? If you like it when you come in, awesome. If you don't, you don't want to say that, but at the same time, you want. Again, to find your community, type of thing,
yeah.
But so far we've been in business maybe 7-8 years now.
Oh, wow,
so-
really? Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's hard. And it's, and we have our days, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
But we've been accepted by the community, and that's huge, because a lot
Very
of,
much. God, that's-
especially when you're catering to local people that make their own things, that's always hard. We've seen so many businesses just shut down, and, it's scary. It's
Oh, it
scary.
is. It is. Y'all do any online stuff?
We don't yet, but
don't?
we're
Okay.
working on that. Yeah, because we've had so many people too that come in from out of town. Like, hey, our family from here told us about y'all. And they're like, oh, but we see pictures, and a lot of people do send us messages like, hey, I live in so and so. Can you ship? And we do.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, but now that we're getting more, social media has been.
Ooh, it's been a lifesaver, right?
I tell people all the time, take
Yeah.
Yeah.
advantage. Like
It's
we
like-
had,
yeah.
even at the event I had this weekend, we had people that came in from Brownwood. They messaged us, one day, and they're like, "Hey, I saw you're having a K-pop event. I'm from Brownwood, and I'm like, girl, come down,
Yeah.
But if you're not posting and you're not taking advantage of free, I always tell people it's free.
Yes.
Yeah, free
Do
advertising.
it.
Like literally, how many people are on Facebook? How many people
Yes.
are on Instagram? It's free advertising,
Yes.
man.
Free
Exposure.
Yeah.
advertisement.
If your biggest complaint is, oh, it's so hard to do it, which that has been my complaint.
Yes, because it is hard.
It is
you
hard.
Have to think
It's-
of like,
yeah.
well, what do I want to post today? How do I say it? Am I going to spell it correctly? Is my
Oh,
grammar,
That's funny because my grammar's horrible.
Oh, mine too.
Mine's
My
like a
spelling
5-year-old
is
kid.
horrible.
That's why you got me, though.
Yeah, to look at my post, and be like, nope, edit that.
You forgot the period.
There's Chat
Like-
GBT for a reason.
Right? Yes.
AI is pretty good for it, too.
Yeah.
That's
I like to be a
It's
fly on your wall when
insane.
you're reading my post. Like, I think this guy's missing some chromosomes. That's
Why
funny.
would we follow that?
But I try. I try.
Yes, it's hard.
No, but it is. I don't like. There's some people that do it, and it's a full time job.
Very
And,
much so.
Man, I just don't understand how some people
I
do
tell
it.
people all the time, I'm like, I quit my full-time job working a 9 to 5 to now work 24/7.
Yes.
I don't go to sleep sometimes till 5.
But you love
6
what
in the
you do,
morning.
though. No
I
kidding.
love it. It's not work to me.
Yeah.
It is not work to me.
That's okay. See, that's where you found it.
Yeah,
You know.
that's where I found it because
Wow.
I'm just like, I'm doing what I love. I'm meeting, like I said, I'm an introvert, or I don't like to say I still am, but there was
You're
a time where
ex-introvert. That's
yeah,
it, yeah.
because I didn't used to leave my house at all. I'd be like, if I could curbside and have it delivered to me, perfect. I don't have to deal with people and,
That's great.
But now it's gotten me out of the show. Even working at the Nada too, we've met so many cool people and, artists around town. That helps too, and everybody being so supportive. And I think that's what helps too, when you finally see that people like what you're doing, that you're like, oh, okay, there is a place for me here. Because I think it's tough in San Angelo sometimes.
Yeah.
That you...
Oh, it can be for sure.
Yeah, because, I think it's... people are opening their mind a little bit more to certain things, that there is stuff outside of, just Mexican restaurants and, going to the park. There's other things. You just got to find them.
I think a lot of it too, though, is people are making people that say, hey, there's not this in San Angelo, so I'm going to do it myself, and that starts to spread. And people start to realize, oh, there's more stuff going on. And those same people are like, what would be cool to have this, and then they go and open up their own shop. Yeah, you cull through a lot of people that talk about it. But I think that's the spread. The spread is where you start to find your community. You start finding, hey, there is a lot more stuff happening in San Angelo, only because people realize there's nothing to do in San Angelo.
Yeah.
Let's do something, And like we talked about it last time, if you're like, hey, there's not this in San Angelo. Oh, I wish there was. Hey,
do it.
Do it. Do it. And reach out to, because I don't know all the people that have sat in your chair. I don't know anybody that have said, no, I'm not going to help nobody.
Yeah. Oh, no. And
they all help each other.
Yes, you have to. You really have to. I love working with small businesses. I tell my friends all the time, the first time I went out away from the Nada, because I think I also used it as a safe place. Like, oh, people are coming to me, Yeah. And when my sister was like, you know what, you should start doing this K-pop thing. Go out and do it yourself, And I was like, you know what, I am. I remember the first time I went to Blue Tiger, and I went to go talk to the owner, and I was like, on the way over there, I was trembling because I was like, there's a chance he could say no, And then here I, got all my confidence to go in there and ask, and I'm like, hey, I have this idea. I've seen people come to San Angelo, because there's people that come from like Midland, Odessa, and I had another friend that would do them every once in a while too, and I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too, And so I went in there and I'm like, well, what's the worst that can happen? He can say no, but that no is
devastating. Yes.
So I went in there and he's like, yeah, let's do it. Now we're going on 2 years working together. I've worked with,
cool.
And he tells me all the time, like, I love working with other small businesses because you have to help each other out.
Yes.
He's like, we all have slow seasons. And when other vendors come to me and say, hey, I want to set up my, booth, it's like, I'm all for it, because
you're giving me exposure.
Yeah, and they could have a group of people that haven't been to Blue Tiger yet, that's going to bring your following that you already have to a new place. I've worked with Sugar High Bakery. I've worked with Lily's Pizza. I've done an event there, of course, at the Nada, Snowberry Tea, and it's hard. I have people tell us all the time, like, oh, I want to do an event at so-and-so place. I'm like, just go ask. I've been rejected tons, because I've been to a lot of small businesses where they're like, well, I don't know, K-pop's probably not the thing for us. And I get it. It's not for everybody. But you never know until you go out there and ask, you know.
Unfortunately for y'all are missing out on some K-pop.
K-pop's worldwide, baby. Worldwide.
It's like
exactly.
You're missing out on a demographic here.
But, even now I've had these friendships with these other small business owners that share your posts, like your posts, and they're getting your word. And so then you're sharing their stuff. So, because everybody has a different following, like I said, the Nada's following is way different from mine, you know? So if we're both sharing our stuff, you never know. It's like, oh, well, my child likes K-pop. I didn't know that there was a K-pop, here in San Angelo. Yeah, let me take them, and that's how, the same thing with Sugar High. The first event I did with them was a Taylor Swift event,
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I don't just do K-pop, I'll do like pop culture and stuff like that. I've done like Studio Ghibli. That's my favorite anime. And, I went to Snowberry and I'm like, hey, do you want to do a Studio Ghibli themed event? Yeah, let's do it. And
that's cool.
So I love working with small businesses.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Dude, we got to dress up as anime characters and
do it.
And do a podcast.
I'm down.
Who would you dress up as?
I I don't. God, hold on, you put me on the spot there.
Well, you brought it up.
That's true.
Yeah, no, that would just that, just do random stuff like that. Yeah.
Who would you be?
Who would I be? I don't know, man. Who could have played besides Buddha? Aang. Bro, I'll be there. Oh, Aang.
Aang?
Yeah, Last Airbender, man.
Oh,
Yeah, bro.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
That's
I'd
actually
shit
a good
my
one.
head though. Or somebody. I don't know. I think this thing would be cool.
Yeah, no, it would.
Yeah,
That's
because
actually
That'd be
good
pretty
idea.
dope.
yeah.
We have to figure out how long we can hold this mask on though, because we did wear masks for Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
All of
I was like, yeah.
maybe 10 minutes max, because we started getting hot.
Masks are hot.
Yeah, but I was wearing this huge horse head.
Oh my god. I think I saw that video.
Did
That's
you? I was
one
like,
of the videos I
yeah.
watched.
I was like, oh my god, I can't breathe, because you could only get the air that was coming in and out
Well,
of the
can you
mouth.
think like the mascots, like the ASU
Oh,
brand?
yeah,
that's
I do.
Oh man,
head all the time.
I want to put one on because I was like, what's working in here?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's a lot of empty space if there's nothing there. So I'm guessing there's got to be like a helmet inside that thing. that
Like an
holds it.
internal fan in there.
Oh yeah, that too, right?
Yeah.
It's like I got to charge the I got to charge the head
yeah, yeah.
because if not, I'm gonna pass out in here. No, I give them props, man, because you see them out there and it'll be
Full of
100
energy.
degrees out.
Texas is so hot.
Yes, I was like, I don't know how you're doing it.
They'll be
Man.
running.
Oh.
Like they'll be running. Really, you're running in this
full
thing.
of energy.
Yes.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, what? I don't know.
It's
There's got to be
they're
like
in their
laxes and
20s
stuff.
still.
Oh yeah,
I
that
don't
too.
ever remember being hot or cold in my 20s.
Yeah, that's true. I got to give you that.
That's true, right? Yeah, yeah.
It's the energy.
That
Nowadays,
is
I'm like, oh man, it's
I know,
hot.
or it's
My
too
bones hurt.
cold.
true. My bones hurt.
Yeah, it's cold. My bones hurt.
I know. I was just telling my mom yesterday. I'm like, man, my knee hurts. I'm like, I bet it's gonna rain. Today it rains. I'm
Yo.
like, my knee's a weather.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh man. No, I give them props. I give props to all those guys who can do that.
Oh yeah. We've been having a lot of small. Well, our whole thing when we started this is we wanted to, like Joe Rogan, he does what he does, but on a national scale. We're like, well, let's do this, but let's just focus on San Angelo.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
at first, it kind of seems like there's only so much San Angelo, but man, actually,
There's a lot.
there's a lot. And the more people that we meet and talk to, they turn us on to somebody else, and then that person turns us on to something, and it just keeps on going. Like,
Yeah.
like the comedian thing. Who knew?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I mean, there's a lot of comedians in San Angelo. And there's
Yes,
people
it's
coming in and
crazy.
all the time. I'm like, man, that
Yeah.
is awesome.
That's blowing up. The thrifting. Have you heard of thrifting?
Like, I mean, I've heard of thrifting,
heard-
but I don't know if there's like
there's
a
co-
podcast.
No, there's a community of thrifters.
No.
That I was like, oh my god, and it's so exciting because you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean you sold a shirt for $200? That's
Oh,
cool.
yes.
Or some of the stuff that they just buy and resell. The whole thing is mind blowing to me. And then on top of it, with the tattoo artists,
Oh god,
bro,
yes.
they are
I feel like San Angelo is like a mecca for tattoo artists.
Yes.
But just the people. When you get to meet the people, like yeah, our deal is to have small business owners in here, but we don't really talk about the business side of it. It's like this. I'd like to get to know you.
Yeah.
As a person. And man, everybody that I've had on here, I don't think we've had anybody. We haven't had a single episode we haven't put out.
Yeah.
Some of these podcasts you listen, you're like, oh yeah, we got a couple in the books that we couldn't put out or stuff like that. Man, everyone's been great.
Yeah.
And that's like we were talking earlier, it's so crazy when you hear somebody say there's nothing to do in San Angelo.
Oh, there's a lot.
And it's like there's a lot, and that's what I've learned from working with all these other small businesses and people like Tiffany. Like I said, I was already following y'all, but you get lost in the algorithm if you don't like those people, and that's another thing I love to tell people. You may not think it's important to like a post or comment or just put a little emoji on there.
Yeah.
If you want to keep seeing that content and keeping up with the news of it, you have to do that.
You got to engage.
You got to engage because then you're not going to know. And you are going to be that person saying, there's nothing going on in San Angelo, you know, and all that stuff helps. Like, when small businesses are saying like our post, share our post, we're not saying it just because we want to get our word out there.
Yeah.
We want you to see that there is stuff going on in San Angelo,
And that helps. It just takes a second, guys.
It does take a second.
We try to post or share something daily. Like if I can't think of something to post, I'll just try to share somebody. Maybe me sharing somebody else helps them out, but at least we're still doing
staying
something,
on there.
staying engaged.
Yeah.
Hopefully that keeps us in the algorithm for some people too,
It
because
does. And that's why
sometimes it's hard to just come up with ideas.
Oh,
for new
I
stuff.
know.
Like,
It's so hard.
I just drew a blank.
2 years of doing this, man, it's hard. It's just like,
Yeah.
what do I post today?
Like, how many times can I keep? How many times can I keep going back to that well? I don't think I can go back to that well anymore.
I'm like, yeah, Alice has left Wonderland.
Exactly.
We're not there no more. Yeah, but no, it's cool though. Like, there's just a lot of stuff in San Angelo. It seems like there's always something every weekend. Something's going on somewhere.
Going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
You just gotta find it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, like I have yet, and it kind of irks me that I haven't been out to the Dragway yet.
I haven't
Since
either.
they opened, and I'm like,
I didn't even know there was
I think
one.
they're having an
Yeah.
event this
Yeah.
coming weekend, like a summer thing.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think that they're hosting it.
who?
They're down Arden Road if you're looking for it.
Dragway.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the Dragway, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah, they just opened it. They opened it up last year, I think.
Yeah, I believe
And
so.
They've been having races every weekend, and of course I go down that highway all the time. So I'm like, where's all the people at? And I'm like, man, this place should be flooded going out there.
Yeah.
Because I remember the Dragway in Walboro come the weekend. You better get out there early.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a line all the way down Hawk Road. But I had to give them a shout out, man, because that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is
They, I think they need to open up something for. I know this is gonna sound crazy because I got into mini bikes with my kids,
Oh,
and my son is like, "Hey, aluminum flywheel."
Oh, he's into it.
Oh, he's all into it. He just upgraded the car, but now he's more like, "Hey, Dad, can we tear it apart and put a new camshaft and a forged piston and stuff?" Because he wants to go.
yeah.
And I'm like, man, how come no one's, now I guess there is kid racing, but we're talking about $5,000-$10,000 cars that they're out there racing. And I'm like, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to, if anybody out there, maybe it's something I should do, where it's like, hey, we go out and build stuff. Like you build what's called a mini bike to these specifications, go out and race them.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe because you're right. I've thought about this. I'm like, man, I should go talk to him. Nah, what if he says no?
I know.
What if he says nah or something like that?
Yes.
But yeah, I think that would be so cool, especially for like my son, dude. He is all in. He's like, Dad, I want a motorcycle. I want a dirt bike now. I want to go. He wants to go fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's
Ricky
cool.
Bobby, baby. Go back.
He ain't first or last, Dad. So I was like, man, that is so cool. And especially if you can get a community together, it's like, hey, man, this is like the problem he's having right now is that I don't know how to work on this. I know some, but I don't know it all. So there's not really a way for him to talk to, be like, hey, my engine's doing this.
He doesn't have a community.
Yeah, no community, nobody to ask, And I'm like, man, I know there's somebody out there be like, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work on my own stuff and stuff like that. But I thought, man, that would be so cool. I know I followed a group that had started something like that, but I guess it fell off.
Yeah.
Maybe they got busy or did something else or just didn't get as popular.
And it gets hard, like when you're into something and you want to keep it going, especially if you do have a full-time job. Because a lot of the vendors that are at the Nada do have full-time jobs, so they do have to find the time, like, okay, once I get out of my job, now I got to create for my side job.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people sometimes give up because it's like, man, I'm tired when I get out of work. I still got to cook dinner, like especially if you have children.
Oh, yeah.
You got to cook dinner, get the kids ready, and then if I have time, I'll make my stuff. And it's hard. Running a business is hard.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. But I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Oh no,
It's so
I wouldn't
good.
either.
The freedom. Sometimes, hey, we're going to make ends meet this week.
I know. Yep.
I get
that's
that.
a
Yep.
big one, and that's what I tell people all the time because they're like, "Oh, I want to, try and do this." And to me, I'm always like, "Do it.
Yeah.
Just go out there and do it." But I also tell them, I'm like, I don't know how many times me and my sister have cried. We've gotten into fights. We've gotten into because the pressure of it.
Oh, yeah.
Other companies are trying to move as fast as you are.
Yes.
Especially big corporate companies.
Yeah.
Because they have the money, they have the time, they have the employees to do it. When you're doing it by yourself, that's even harder because you're having to do the advertisement, the product, the going out into the community and meeting people, because you have to.
You have to network, yeah.
Yeah, when you get out of, that's because for us, the Nada is work or VPOP scenarios, work, and, there's an art show. We can easily say like, oh, I'm not going to go, I'm tired, But if you don't go out there, you're not meeting other artists. Yeah. You're not meeting you never know, you might find a spot for them, Like Kevin Little was one of the ones after he had the art show for the skateboards, he came to my sister. He's like, hey, not all of the boards were sold. Can we display them at the NADA? Heck yeah, put them up here, And so now we tell people like, hey, if you didn't get the chance to see the art display that day because you weren't able to make it, we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 6. Come check it out over here,
Yeah.
And
there was a board that I wanted, and I didn't see it when I was there. It had a flamingo on it.
I'll ask my sister. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't know who did it, but it was a cool board.
Yeah.
And I was like, as I went in there, and then I had Mother's Day on the brain.
Oh, okay.
Because I did know. I was like, I saw a
look.
post. It was there. I was like, I want it. I want to buy that.
Yeah.
And then I went
and
and
let you know.
Yeah. Too busy chasing my kids around because they were like, hey, can we get this? So I didn't even get a chance to look for myself when I left. I was like, man, I didn't get a chance to look for that board.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's there, man, I'd like to
Yeah.
hang it up on the wall here because I thought
It
it was
is a
cool.
cool board. I know which one you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my way up there. I got to.
Oh, dude, it's
Yeah.
a cool
It's
store, man.
so
I can't believe I haven't been there.
Yeah.
I've taken April up there once.
Really?
Yep.
Dang.
My wife went and I didn't even get out. Wow.
She went without you.
Yeah, but that's so cool though. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, man. There's so much stuff.
I know. I saw a store similar to it in Corpus when I went, and it reminded me so much of y'all's store. But I mean, y'all's is more local compared to theirs because they had a lot of like the Mexican stuff and everything like that. But y'all's, like I said, you have displayed art from different people that are local. Y'all have just a bunch of other things that they didn't have, and I was like, yeah, this is a lot like theirs.
So-
but no, it's cool.
So V-Pop is not. You're more an event.
Yeah,
Like
what I
you-
do is, I just go to small businesses and say, hey, you want to collaborate for an event?
Yeah.
Like I said, I've done a Taylor Swift event. I've done art shows. I did a Deadpool Wolverine art show with my friends.
Yes.
Missed out again, Abraham.
And it's so crazy because when we were putting out for that, we had two guys that reached out to us and they were like, hey, we dress up as Deadpool and Wolverine. Can we just show up? We're like, yeah, come on, so even like that, people.
It all helps with
it
the
helps
event.
with it because then they were standing outside of the art show waving people down, to come in, and so people wanted to take pictures with them, and that helps the artists too, because then they're like, oh well, yeah, well, since we stopped to take pictures with you, let me go in and check out the art since I'm already here, So I mean, like every small little thing just helps. But yeah, I just reach out to small businesses and say, hey, you want to do this, and I let them choose. Like I show them what I've done with the Taylor Swift and K-pop and stuff. Most of them will ask me like, what's your most popular? What's going to bring in the most people? For me and my following, it's K-pop.
Yeah.
And then of course with the NADA, it's the art shows that bring in the most people. So, it's just it depends on what you want to do and. I reach out, but it's been so fun.
You get paid to party.
I know,
I
right?
tell people,
Dang it.
I know. I'm
They're the wrong line of business.
I'm listening to her talk, and I'm like, wow, this is. What am I doing with my life? I wake up every morning and I go to a job that I don't want to be at. I'm just like, God, I just want to create.
And it's
like,
hard. So like when I finally decided, like, okay, I'm quitting my 9 to 5. Because like I said, I started with the NADA, When I told my sister, I was like, I think I'm going to quit my job. Let's do this full time. She had already quit hers. That was her baby. She was going to do it, So I told her, I was like, okay, I'm going to chance it. I'm like, if my car gets repoed, oh, well.
yeah. Hey, I'll get another one.
I'll get another one.
Yeah. You're all in,
day.
though. You're all in.
Yeah. And you have to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's as scary it is, you have to be.
It is the most. I've said this before. I've said this before. It's one of the most scariest things you'll ever do, right? But if you want to succeed at it, it's 2 feet in. You have to go 2 feet in because as soon as your both feet fall in that fire, it's go time.
It's go time.
It's go time. You're going to hustle it as hard as you're going to hustle it because you know what? Your dependable 9-to-5 job, that check every 2 weeks, hey, it's gone. It's gone. You can't rely. There's no relying on that no more.
You rely on yourself now.
You're relying on yourself, And so you have to put the work into it because if not, you're not eating that week.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Oh, man. I can't even. Oh. See, that brings back some memories where I'm just like, I guess I'm not eating today.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
We still got ramens in the shit.
Or you pull up to that gas tank because you got to be somewhere. You're just like, all right, let's put $20.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, this is $20 in the tank.
Fill up gas tank.
Yeah,
In this
yeah,
economy?
dude. Oh man, when I first started Harvey's, right, I'm sitting there at the gas station. I'm looking at my account and I'm looking at the pump, and I see the diesel, and I'm like, oh man, diesel's like $2.23 at the time. And I was like, all right, if I hope I don't run out of gas out in the field. I was like, when I get out there, I'm gonna turn the truck off. You know, everywhere I go, because I was doing rustabout. I was doing construction.
Oh,
No air conditioning today.
No air conditioning,
Yes.
no nothing. It's just like, all right, $20. And I remember my hands looking at me, he's like, well, you're only putting $20 in. I was like, we're not going to be there all day. I have to just play it cool, you know? And I'm just like, oh man. I remember my wife, she's like, how you need, because at that time, bro, I had all my savings I had put it all towards the business.
All into the business.
And my dad was all like, yeah, the money will come, son. The money will come. I'm like, when?
That's what
When?
I did.
Yeah.
When I said I'm going to do this, I looked at my 401k and I was like, do I chance it
Yeah.
and hope that I can make money for when I'm a senior citizen?
Yeah.
You know, but I don't regret it. I
No,
don't regret it. And I
no,
hope
no,
it
no.
still keeps going the way it's going. And, you know, it's
Just
what it is.
As long as you put in the work,
stronger.
it'll
Oh,
just get up there. Yep.
You
As
have
long
to
as you
do-
put in
and
the
I
work.
tell people all the time, I'm like, I wake up thinking about my small business. I go to sleep thinking about my small business. Yeah, because it's, you know.
Oh, man, but it's great though, because
It is.
at the same time, you know, it's I get it. I totally get it. And there's a lot of jealousy that comes out of it for me,
So
because I'm like,
much.
man, God, when people talk like that, you know, talk
Mm-hmm.
like you're talking, I'm like, fuck, they found it. They found it. Where's mine? When do I find mine? But I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, nope, I can't. Let me just stick to my
You fight
same
yourself.
old. Yes, I have to. I'm just like, let me stick to
I
my
think
same
it's
old
harder
stuff.
too when you have children.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely, yeah.
You know, when my sister first started the Nyla, she didn't have a child then,
Uh-huh.
you know, but now, you know, now her partner's now for real. She's like, if I don't want to go work for the man, I have to make this work for real now.
Yeah.
You know, because now I'm not just feeding myself. You know,
Yeah.
I'm having to feed a child now.
Yeah.
So
It's-
that's scary. And, you know, not saying it was less scary for me, you know, because I don't have a child,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel
It's still the jump. It's still the jump.
it's a little bit more lenient for somebody that has,
Yeah.
you know, children, because that's something you do have to consider. It's like, okay, do I quit my job and chance it? And there's one less income in a household, you know, and then you got to pray. But people have done it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
people
yeah.
have done it where
Yeah.
it's just a one income household and it's rough for a while.
Yeah.
It will be, you know, but if you keep your, you know, working at it,
Oh, yeah.
it's worth it at the end.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
it definitely is, man. Because you gotta wake up every morning with the mindset of the light at the end of the tunnel, man.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was at. I was like 2 months in, nothing's coming in. You know, I think some of these companies were like 60, 90-day payout.
Oh, that's rough.
Where I'm just like, I gotta wait, you know, 2 months or 3 months just to see a check.
Yeah.
And at that time, my dad was like, "Don't worry, son, the money will come." I was like, "I'm 50 grand in the hole. I need something. I need someone throw me a life preserver. Someone throw me a."
Yep.
And it was one of those times, man, where I'm just like, I know where this magic hand comes out, and
that's
it's
right.
like, hey, I know it looks rough, you know, but hey, it's almost like, hey, you've been diligent, you've been waiting, you've been patient. Here's a little something, you know, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, where's this check? Oh, I got a check, you know,
Yep.
all happy, and I just deposit it, and then I pay everybody out, and I'm like, damn it,
Yep.
where's it all at? It's all gone. But yeah, dude, it's so rewarding, man.
Well,
Yeah.
it's man, with what you were doing, that's hard because you have to make payroll.
Payroll.
You got guys
every week.
Yeah, people are depending on
it
you.
was it was
Yeah.
scary. But now that I think about it now, you know, at the time where I was, I was so scared. Like it was terrifying. Think about it now; it's one of the greatest memories I've ever
Yeah.
had. Because I'm
Yep.
like, man, I actually scraped the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
you
I'm just like,
do.
and I came out.
Yep.
It is the most gratifying thing that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure there's different ways you can experience in that, you know, and I like for some people that have a dream, because at the end of the day, or at the end of your life, I should say, you're never going to say, hey, oh, God, I'm glad I didn't do that. Or I'm gonna,
Yeah.
you're always going to, the regrets are like nightmares,
Yes.
and they're
very
always
much
going to
so.
haunt you.
Yeah, should have did that.
Should have did it. You know, even if, I mean, of course, at the time, you don't know you're going to fail.
Yeah, you don't.
You know, but man, sometimes you walk out of those and you're just like, God, man,
Yeah.
okay, that fell flat on its ass, but it was fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, especially when COVID happened, that was one of the things, the Nada wasn't a necessity store.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something people needed to say like, oh, I have to have the Nada to survive. Yeah. So, even during that time, it was hard, because it's like, are we going to make it back from this? Because a lot of small businesses
They
didn't,
did not know.
and it's like, having to be closed those few months and, people not wanting to wear masks because people wanted to see each other's faces. They wanted to see people smile. Yeah. Even that was rough, where it's like, oh, well, I don't want to leave my house because everywhere I'm going, I have to wear a mask and I don't want to wear one, because who wants to wear a mask 24/7, And so that was really rough, but, thank God we got through it and,
Those 2 years of isolation were rough, man.
Gosh, they were.
Like I give anybody who stayed open or anybody who was able to, at least last that long to the open doors, but I commend it, man, because that was so hard. I didn't know. You had
to get creative too, because it's like, we even went to the point where like, well, let's post pictures because at the same time, people did want to shop too.
Yes.
Because they wanted to feel some kind of happiness, so it'd be like, let's post pictures.
Retail
if
therapy.
Anything, so like if anything, we'll drop it off in their mailbox, or we can be like, hey, we can leave it out on the sidewalk. You come pick it up, send us Cash App, Venmo,
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, in order to survive, you had to even get creative that way because it's like, okay, I'll go into the shop. I'll take pictures of certain items like, hey, we have this, come buy it. If you want to buy it, we'll drop it off in your mailbox or, you come pick it up or whatever, because you want to survive during those hard times, and you have to, you got to get creative sometimes.
Oh, man, that's cool though. Yeah.
You learn who you really are.
Yeah, you
definitely do that.
Yeah.
That's
it's insane.
The one thing I feel like, yes, COVID sucked, but I think one of the good things that came out of COVID and putting everybody in that scenario was people realized, you know what? I'm wasting my life with this job.
Yep.
It doesn't even give a shit about me. Like,
I just got to let go.
I just got to let go. And like, you know what?
They were trying to survive too.
I'm gonna do what I like. They'll figure out like, you know what? I don't need all this extra shit. I was living beyond, like all I really need to get by or to even live is just to pay these things. And that's really, that's my bottom line.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, I could do that. And then they'll just pursue whatever passion that they had. And then like that happened with a lot of people, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
That's why when everything's picked back up again, everybody's like, hey, where's all the workers at? And they didn't come back.
Nope.
No. They found something better for themselves.
Yeah. A lot of, and that's what happened with a lot of artists. People started figuring out like, at this time, I didn't have time to draw or paint or, do whatever because I was working a full-time job.
Yeah.
And so what were they doing during COVID? Well, they were drawing and painting again, and they were creating these beautiful pieces. And, so we put them like, man, come hang him up at the Nada, and
That's when I got into photography.
Yeah.
Like I just got full on into photography because I was like, I've always wanted to try this.
Yeah. And sometimes
I
just find it.
I loved it. I mean, I didn't like it at the time.
Yeah.
But,
But you think back
afterwards,
and you're like, it wasn't that horrible.
Yeah. Because I did. I mean, I lost stuff, I mean, I was just like, oh, damn, okay, so I'm not going to pay that. I can't pay that. So I'm like, but it was great. It was great for me to realize, I was like, man, I was busting my ass for things that don't even make me happy.
Yes.
None of this makes me happy.
Yep.
So I did, man, I lost some trucks. I lost, I lost a lot of stuff. I had to start over again. But then I sat there and I'm like, I can literally live with half of what I was making.
Yeah.
And be happy.
And be happy.
I was like, I didn't need all this crap.
Yep.
I didn't, because at the end of the day, that's what it was. It was crap.
And that's
what do
I
they
think
say?
A lot of the things for me was like, I don't need to buy things. Now to me, it's like, I should be traveling. Instead of buying these things that were just going to sit in my home.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, trying restaurants, trying other culture foods, like that's to me now the priority. I'm like, I don't need to buy that.
I heard the saying,
travel.
people were talking about like all the things that people buy. Like it gets to a point where you don't actually own your things.
Yeah.
Your
They
things
own
you.
Yep. I've heard that
Man,
too.
that's real
that,
right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That the stuff you're buying literally just became your identity.
Yeah.
It's like, for what? Yeah. And then it was all gone, And the people that sit there and help enjoy the stuff with me, where are they at?
Yeah, they're gone too.
They're gone too.
Yeah. Like the boat.
The boat effect.
Oh man, the boat effect. Oh my god.
I was like, oh man, like no one came around. All of a sudden, you got a boat and everybody wants to come hang out.
Yeah.
And
then when it's gone, they're gone again.
Yep.
Yeah.
or when it needs repairs, or you got to.
Oh, yeah.
Where are those people at? You know? Hey man,
What happened to
you were with me
Yeah.
all summer. I got to fix the engine on this boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you find
Good luck.
your real ones are to be like, hey man, hey, that boat was fun, dude. What else you want to do? Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
you want to go eat? I was like,
And
what?
you know what?
Yeah.
That has happened to me so much with V-pop scenario. Like I said, bringing in K-pop events to San Angelo, the K-pop that was already coming in was, like I said, they were coming from like Odessa to do events here. Or like my friend, you know, she was doing them every once in a while at other small businesses. But when I decided, like, I'm going to do this full time and try to do it every weekend, or like now I even have a booth at the Nala, because I see people are not just wanting to buy my stuff at these events because they're like, or sometimes they might just not have the money at the event, but they still go to play like the games and stuff, you know, and they'll be like, oh, I really want this, but I don't have money right now, or, you know, I don't get paid till so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, well, I have it at the Nala full time, you know, like you can go there. But I've had people where they'll come in. This weekend was one of the examples. She said, hey, I buy K-pop albums because they come with little photo cards and those become collectibles.
Wow,
Yes.
that's crazy.
So what we do, I'm including myself in this, is we go and we buy these $20 to sometimes $60 albums for these little photo cards. And so these photo cards can sometimes go up to hundreds of dollars.
Oh,
So a lot of people, you know, will, once they're done with the
book.
album and the book, they have so many because they wanted to collect all the cards
Yeah.
that they're like, well, I don't want the books anymore, you know? So this girl was like, hey, you know, I have all these albums. And I was like, yeah, I'll take them as donations. I was like, you know what? I'll use them as prizes. We've had so many people donate to V-Pop Scenario, and teenagers, of course, don't have money. They have been the best prizes for V-Pop Scenario because mom and dad is not going to give them $60 to buy an album. You know? They got to buy them school clothes, shoes, you know.
Yeah.
So when they go, like, yeah, if, you know, I'll give you a quiz. Here's a quiz. If you know them all, you know, I'll give you a prize. And
that's cool.
so it's like even the K-pop community is helping me grow too. It's like when I tell people I love them, you know, as a customer, and I don't even like calling them customers. I like to call them friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That prizes is something I would have had to have pulled out of my pocket. But we've had so many people donate posters, magazines, albums, sometimes even photo cards, where I'm just getting, and I always tell them, I'll post it on, you know, on our social media. If you're going to donate anything, please know I'm not going to resell it. Because a lot of people do sell it.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm just going to give it right back to the K-pop community, you know, but we have so many people.
Oh, that's cool.
Those people that find, like we were talking earlier, once you find your community, well, they want to share that love too. And it's just like a rotation.
Big old
that
pay it
happens.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know, so
man.
that saves me on buying prizes and helps me like, oh, I can spend money for the quizzes or the games or because these events aren't just, oh, we're going to go and listen to K-pop music. You know, it's taking pictures with your friends, see how much you know about the group that we're doing the event on, and you know, coloring contests, you know, all of that takes money, you know.
Yeah.
So when people donate to us, you know, that helps a lot.
Oh, that's cool. You have like a trivia game or trivia night.
Yes.
A K-pop trivia.
K-pop trivia.
I will say my daughter and me were a prime example of that whole scenario that she just described because, you know, with my daughter now into K-pop, we went to one of her events and the Mother's Day pop-up. She got that the Stray Kids book that came with the album, and she was like, what? Like, this you're gonna give this to me? I was just like, huh. I was like blown away, but I was like, that's so cool. So yeah, she's just
it's fun. It's just like any community, you know, you have your bad, you have your good, but so far in San Angelo, we've had a really positive, and I think any of the small businesses that do K-pop events have had a really positive, with the
Turnouts,
K-pop community. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so
That's good.
because it can get a little feral with K-pop. There's, yeah, it can. Oh yes,
I was like,
yes.
okay, hold on.
It's wild.
Please elaborate.
Yeah.
Like,
Tell
we're
us about
talking
this.
like, you know how you see those videos like when the Beatles, you know, the girls were crying and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like it can get that crazy. Like
Whoa.
it's
Really?
I
yeah,
agree.
it can get that crazy. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know,
Well,
you have,
like we were talking a little bit off the mic earlier, and you were like, these people, these guys, they're idols. They're worshipped. Like that's
yeah, and it's really
wild.
scary because I was reading
These are
last night
beautiful men.
actually.
They are very beautiful.
But I was reading last night where some of the fans, like especially in South Korea, they feel they own these idols because they do spend so much money on them. I'm talking like this is probably an over $1 billion industry. You know, like it's expensive.
I imagine. Yeah.
So and South Korea is a very rich country too. So a lot of these teenage girls and girls in their 20s and so already have money. So they will spend all kinds of money on these groups. So then when these idols, let's say, do something or even say they're going to have a girlfriend or get pictured next to a female celebrity or something, they will even go out and protest in front of these companies because they feel they own these men.
Yeah.
And they're like, you shouldn't be having a girlfriend.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
you're supposed to appear single because your job is to entertain me.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I say like there's the good and the bad
Yeah.
of it. But
I believe it. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
it gets
I
crazy.
need to start some impop, bro.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah, Mexican pop.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Impop.
It's
That's what it
insane.
do.
What did you?
It's wild. I
I'm-
mean, even just from like seeing a celebrity smoke a cigarette, they have to be well shaven. No
Yeah, no facial hair.
No facial hair. You're supposed to appear like you don't drink or smoke. So you like there's
You have
just so many
I know they get the
rules.
laser.
Wow.
or,
So you got a whole
removal of the hair
image.
You have a whole image to
keep up.
yeah. Now a lot of the newer and younger groups that are coming out now are changing that. It's slowly, but it's changing. A lot of them are starting to see
Like a new image.
the new image that
Oh, I can already see how this is going. Oh my God. Like it's going to switch from K-pop to rock pop.
there is already.
Oh
too.
man.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be like the alternative stuff. that starts
yeah,
coming out,
yeah.
Where you're going to start seeing dudes
Gothic.
with longer hair, gothic tattooed up. And it's going to,
It's happening.
these genres are still going to, oh
Yeah.
my God.
It's
it's going to be a whole,
And
industry.
I feel like
To be
because
different
Deftones
industry.
in
like Japan,
Korean.
yeah. Like I look a lot of like Japan too. Like they're pretty forward now. Like you see now a lot of
A little bit more
Japanese
progressive.
men, yeah, a little bit more progressive. Like they'll have like the long hair, tattoos,
Okay.
that wasn't there before. And like we were talking earlier, that you have even people that'll come to the United States to study lowriders.
Yeah.
Because they want to. Well, part of the lowriders, they see like, they're wearing, like the button, just one button flannel
The
shirt,
flannel, yeah.
the Dickies, the socks, the Converse, so they're adopting that over there. And so other people are seeing it. And
That's cool.
It gets fast.
I used to
It
wear
goes
long
fast.
socks and shorts.
Did you?
I used to wear.
Hold on. How
Nike-
done of a fool were you?
I was.
How high
Hey,
those
fool. I was down as fuck.
goes
fool.
down? So, them socks were pretty high though.
All the way to the knee. All the way to the knee.
The Dickies came down
The
below the
Dickies
knees.
came down below the knee, and the Nike Cortez.
Oh my
whole-
gosh,
See,
that's so
in
awesome.
In
Shoulder
California, they
wear.
wore Chucks, but here in Texas, we wore Cortez.
Yes. Yep.
That's
I
the
still
way
have
it
a pair
was.
of Cortez.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, when you buy a brand new pair of Cortez, did you ever trip? Because of the grip on the bottom of them would always catch them.
Catch
Oh
on.
shit!
I think the only two I've ever had, I had the front where it would peel off.
Oh yeah.
So I had to put some super glue on it and tape it back. I was like, they're still good though.
And I love too that like growing up in the 90s, my brother was into like the lowrider bikes and all that stuff.
Okay.
But I remember my parents used to be like, that stuff's for gangs, like that's for gangsters, And now, and of course then we were like, our parents don't know anything,
Yeah.
Which maybe everything has the good and the bad,
Yes.
But But now you see it, and it's being more adopted as a art, because you see how much money is put into like these lowriders and these lowrider bikes.
Oh man.
And you get people that are talented that it's like, man, these pieces should be in museums.
Oh yeah.
But they're on a car.
Have you seen like some of the engraving work that they do on these things?
Yes,
Bro, lowrider car of the year is from San Angelo.
Raking ice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which you see, I mean, the paint job alone.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
when they lift, I don't know if he actually takes I think he takes a body from the frame, and you can see all the work that's underneath it.
Yeah.
And on the chassis, I was like,
Yes.
this
It's
is
crazy.
wild.
It's art.
Wild.
And that's what I love too. Like, we were talking earlier that sometimes cancel culture is just so awful, because then you're not getting other cultures to be able to
Spread.
because all they're seeing is probably like the movies, like especially if you watch like Boys in the Hood and stuff like that. Well, they're just being shown the bad part.
yeah.
But a lot of that, just because you own a lowrider or a lowrider bike, doesn't mean you're in a gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chances are, some of these people are professionals that are working these hard jobs, making this money,
Oh, yeah.
so they can put into these impalas with this.
This guy's an
$50,000
insurance agent,
artwork.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's
And
an
it's,
interesting.
yeah, you're right,
and
because the
it's-
cancel culture does suck, because there's a lot of untapped talent
Yes.
that could be doing something for that
Yes.
for that part of the the art. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I just that is heartbreaking, because there's a lot of people that, man, I wish I could do that, but I don't want to be canceled. I don't
Yep.
want to look like I'm appropriating someone else's
Yeah.
things,
Yep.
which is like, man, you're more than qualified to do the job. It just sucks that you feel that way, that you can't do
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because San Angelo's full of talent, obviously.
Yes.
As everybody has seen. And God, with the Nada and V-Pop, I just hope somebody listens to this and be like, hey man, I know where I can take my art.
Yep.
Where I can expose it, where I can get some exposure.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing it in your closet
And
at
we
home.
tell people too, like, if you're just starting out, like, go to the Nada. It doesn't hurt. Like, if you, again, like we said earlier, the artist is always their own worst critic, and it doesn't matter. And we accept all ages. We don't care if you're 5 years old or, 80 years old. If you feel that piece of art means something to you, put it out there.
Yeah.
Because like we said, it's important to find your community. You might never know. We have art from, scary movies to something romantic, something beautiful, and it's all in one place.
Yeah.
And it's not just, being to the norm of a museum that people think like an art gallery, because
We're not boxed in.
Yeah, not boxed in, because sometimes people might say, like, if they are talented, they might be like, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to showcase my art because it's not relatable to what's in some galleries, but I think and I love that restaurants in San Angelo are now asking for people to bring in their artwork.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people either don't know that they can reach out to art galleries or stores because they might feel like, oh, maybe that piece is not appropriate for that part or that museum or that gallery. And I love that these restaurants are asking, like, bring your artwork in, like, show us what you have. We'll pick out a few pieces. And, it's just, I love that that's happening.
Yeah.
Because, it might be somebody that was too scared to ask.
Yeah.
So if you put it out there and like, oh, I'm going to try it, and
Oh, what if they don't like it? What if they do?
Exactly.
it's like Snowberry Tea. A lot of their artists that they have in Snowberry Tea is anime related art, and I love that, because how many times are you going to go into an art gallery anywhere in the country that's going to just be dedicated to anime,
I don't think I've ever been to one.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool,
yeah.
though.
That is cool.
Yeah, and so if y'all haven't been into Snowberry Tea, they have a lot of anime related art.
Where are they at?
They're downtown right near Fuentes. Maybe
Okay.
like a few.
Okay.
Yeah, they used to be in the mall.
Same
and they
side
just
or
moved
across
up.
the street?
The same side.
Same side.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to go check that out.
Yeah, they just
Yeah, I
moved
saw them
a
when they
few
were in the
months
mall.
ago.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit down between Urban Salt, right?
Yes.
And
And Fuentes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about now.
yeah.
Oh,
So
you know
it's
what?
pretty
I know
cool.
we were just eating at 01 last week, and I
Yeah, it's
remember
right
we
across.
sat outside, and I was just kind of looking over there, and I was like, "What is that place?" That's right, I did see
Yeah,
that. I didn't
yeah.
know what it was, but I'm gonna go over there too.
Yeah.
Dude, there's just so
Yeah,
much.
so and that's what's cool about it, that
Yeah.
now you're having these small places that are like, oh, well, this is what I cater to. Oh, well, there might be an artist that might cater to that too. So, you know, and that artist might have been like, oh, well, I only draw anime. Where would I showcase my
That's
art?
cool.
Yeah.
To find an
no
artist
guarantee.
that's all that's his
what
thing. That's actually cool.
I love anime.
Yeah.
I love anime.
I know you.
I'm like, come on, man. I didn't even know that. I thought because usually you go to some of these restaurants, right? And I look, I'm a fan of a Jimi Hendrix or of a Janis Joplin. You know,
Yes.
that's cool. But I'm an anime guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought those. Anime art. I didn't know that. There you go.
That's cool.
Oh man, I gotta hit that up.
As you can see, some of the artwork in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of guilty.
That's why I know
That's his
y'all like the
nerdism.
Nala when
Yeah.
you go in there, because it's everything. We have everything from, you know, Mexican art to, and we even have some artists that have reached out. You know, again, social media is so important, that have reached out from San Antonio, from California. You know, like, hey, we saw you on TikTok. Do you accept, you know, art from us? And yeah, mail it, ship it to us. You know,
Yeah.
we'll showcase it.
Yeah. I have a
nice.
distant cousin that lives in San Antonio, and he's an artist, but his thing is the frames, the framework that he does. It's like
Amazing
it's
stuff.
the frame is art.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that is wild. Like how he'll do it, and then he incorporates it as part of the picture that it's framing.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. Yeah.
It's so awesome to see people create something and you wouldn't think like, oh, that's art until you see it and the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing,
Yeah.
you know?
How did you even think of that? You know?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
One of the paintings that I bought this past weekend, I bought it for the frame.
For the frame.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a, I can't remember the artist's name, but it's just it's a barn with some grass. You know, it's all hand painted. But, and granted, the picture was cool, but the frame was insane. Like, it's just got,
That's what sold you.
yeah, that's what's
Yep.
old. It's
Yeah.
old.
Yep.
And I couldn't tell you how old it is, but it's old.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is that's even cooler.
Yeah, because
It's
I was
old
like,
like
man,
that.
this is cool. So I turned it around, right? And it's not like a regular picture frame that you would get here. It's built, if that makes any sense. And then in the middle,
Custom.
in the little latches that hold the painting on, they're made out of wood. It's just a pin nail that holds it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. I said that I was turning around, I was looking at it. She's like, the lady's like, the painting's on the other side. And I was like, what? I was like, I understand, but I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look how old is this?
Look at
you
the
know?
the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
like, I can't even, this is no way this is made in the 1900s because who would make it anything like that? It was the most insane thing. But
Yeah.
I turned it around. I was like, it's a cool picture. But the frame, the frame is insane. Yeah. It could be something. It could be like a Rembrandt. But I'm like, hey, this is a cool frame.
Can we get rid of that picture? Or just have
Yeah. But yeah, I got to show you it, man. It's insane.
bring it up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Is it in your truck right now?
No, it's at the house.
Supposed to carry that thing with you, man.
Yeah, it's just, man. Because I mean, back to that story. I don't know if I talked about it. Or maybe it was before the podcast where I talked about it. But man, I was like, so how exactly do y'all come across all this stuff? You know, she's like, well, we just get it from people. You know, either be a estate sale or garage sale. But it's these little communities, man, like Blackwell, Mary Neal. You know, where it's just like these ranch houses. Who knows how long they've been sitting out there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, so
That's
you
one
just,
of the
like, get
things
stuff?
I love watching is urban explorers that
Yes.
go into like abandoned homes and they're like, oh, this house was built in like
Yeah.
1932. And, you know, and their rule is whatever's in the home, you don't take it, you know, so they're just taking
Okay,
pictures
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But I'll look at some of that stuff in there and it's antiques and just, you know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
probably worth thousands of
Oh, for
dollars.
sure.
And,
Yeah.
you know, but they have a strict code if you're an urban explorer
Yeah.
or a YouTuber at least, you know, where they're like, you don't touch anything, you don't
Don't take nothing.
vandalize it,
Yeah.
you don't, you know. So I'll be
We're here to
watching it,
enjoy.
and I'm
We're
like,
not here to take
yeah,
anything.
Yeah.
you know. So I'm watching them and I'm like, dang, and they'll never give like the location.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
never do.
'cause they're
Yeah.
like, because I know they don't want people to come vandalize and take stuff, you know. So, but yeah, I'm watching them and I'm like, man, that's probably over $1 million in that household.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Especially when we had Brian in here, Brian Duffy. He's like,
Yeah.
dude, old furniture. Old furniture is the way to go.
Old furniture.
To buy and sell.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, he's
That's
like,
right,
dude,
yeah.
that stuff sells like
And it was
hotcakes.
sturdier too.
Oh,
For
yes.
sure.
Well made.
Where I'm like, man, this table that I just bought, I can move it.
like
That's how
shaky.
rickety it is. I've had it for a year. And
Yes.
No, yeah, that's crazy. Because I mean, out there in Bronx, man, when I said that, I would walk around, and I would. That was my deal. You know, I would go out there, throw a rifle over my back, just in case I came across a bobcat, something that wants to take me out. You know. Yeah. And
there's the mountain lions.
There's mountain lions too.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there walking, and I happen to kick something on the ground. I guess I drug my foot, right, and I hit it, and I go down and I pick it up. I was like, oh, what is this? You can see this little iron loop that's sticking out, you know. So I grab it and I'm sitting there. I dig around it and I pull it out. It was an old iron, like clothes iron.
Yeah.
That opened up at the top. You throw your coals in it.
Oh my God.
I was like,
that's wild,
yeah, dude. I came across that an old flashlight, which. It's weird looking back, but it was this big. It looked like one of those old cigar tin, the tin.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. That's what it looked like.
Okay.
Because it had the seam that went all the way around it, but it had a little light on top and a little
That's so
button.
crazy.
And probably back from the 50s and stuff like that. Because there used to be an old what's called auto graveyard. There's the land right next door.
Wow.
And there was Bel Airs. There was all kinds of stuff. You know, just sprawled out there.
There's no telling what.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you know what? And I regret it because I never went and I never opened up the trunk on any of them. There had to have been like 15 of them out there.
That's crazy.
So it'd be cool to open it up and it's like, hey, there's something
There's
old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's wild.
Damn.
Dang.
but God, that's what I get. No, I should have explored a little more.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier, regrets.
Your
They're
regrets,
nightmares.
I do, man. Where I'm just like, God, I should have.
The regrets
Yeah.
are the nightmares.
Some of those Bel Airs were in perfect condition, man. The only thing that was wrong was that the motor was messed up.
They weren't trying to sell them or what?
Nah,
man.
they went in them with the excavator and pulled them out.
Yanked them all
Oh,
out.
dang.
Oh,
Crushed
they just
them,
tore
threw
them
them.
all up.
That's crazy.
Ruined them.
I'm just like, man, what are y'all doing? But at the same time, I'm like, I was young too,
Yeah.
so I was like, man,
Yeah.
who's gonna fix that
No.
stuff up? Now you look at
Like
it, you're
they
like,
say, you know, they always say, like, when you're in bed, that's when you think about, like, dang, I should have done this, or I
Yep.
should have said that, or
oh yeah, no, that's where I have my worst moments because I was telling you, I'll be laying in bed. Sometimes I'll have thoughts like that, but sometimes most of my stuff is like, hey, what if you go blind? I was like, oh my God. I was like, turn off. I don't want to think about that.
Dang.
It's
and then you got to Google it.
Oh.
Because they're like, oh, what happened?
What
You know,
would
you're
happen?
going
Yeah.
into-
Yeah.
And how would it happen?
Yeah.
There you go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, it's horrible. Like I'm probably gonna
Yes.
like I got notebooks on top of notebooks of stuff that pops into my head at night, and I'm like, my wife. I used to know my wife because she's like, "Are you getting back up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, something popped into my head." I got notebooks and stuff that I got to draw out.
Yes.
And I don't not
Visual?
artist, but I'm more of a what do you call that? Like blueprint.
Expression.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I draw blueprints of stuff, and I'm like, oh, this would be cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all
have
right, I
to.
can go to sleep now.
That's still art, though, man. Like, even doing it like that, I mean, that's still art. I'm just kind of thinking about it right now, Tiffany. Now that the sun is down, how's the lighting? Is it too bright or is it okay?
Oh no, it's perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
It's good. It's good.
I'm impressed actually. This light, I thought it was gonna be a bus. I was like, oh.
Toot, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
I toot my own horn.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't waste money.
That's always
It's
scary.
always a win.
You know, where you're like, especially like you'll read the reviews over and over, especially with something expensive that you're purchasing.
You want to
for
get it
your
just
business.
right,
Yeah.
you know.
You're like, man, but what if this? What if that?
And
And
so-
then I hate those products that have like mixed reviews.
Oh yeah.
That some will be like, this was the best thing ever, and some people are like, this was crap. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, what do I do?
Well, what was it?
Wasn't even the right
Yeah.
size or some crap like that. Or the bottom, the one that's always turns me off, which says frequently returned item.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, oh,
yeah, I'll go
man.
to the next one. I'm like,
Yeah.
nope.
Not even gonna
for
try
me.
Some of the stuff that I have bought, I'm like, yeah, okay, I should have sent it back, but now it's sitting in the.
Now you just
Yes,
got it there.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's at the
The
landfill
same.
because I threw it in the trash.
Just got
Or
tired.
I
of
hate
it.
when you're looking at something and you're like, there's also 50 other people watching the same thing. And you only have
Yes.
so many left.
Oh yeah.
No, don't get it. I want it. I
Yeah.
think.
I think right.
Yeah.
Man, but I know I said if y'all were doing online sales yet, but man, I got to put you on with Brian Duffy. He
Yes,
does a lot
do
of
it.
online stuff,
Okay, yeah, because
and he'll teach you some stuff,
you know,
man.
and it's when
Oh,
you
yeah.
jump into something, you know, like when you get
Yeah.
your idea, you just I'll figure it out on the way.
Yeah.
you know, and half the time you're watching YouTube videos, you're Googling, you're searching on Instagram, like, well, how did they do it? And which a lot of stuff is helpful, but at the same time, when somebody's there to help you, you know, get through the steps.
Oh yeah, this dude's awesome, man. He's an awesome dude.
Shout out to Brian
Yeah,
Duffy.
Yeah, because
Great picks.
he'll put you on some stuff that is just to me it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Whatnot. I love what. I mean, I had to.
You're all in now.
Yeah, I had to. What's it called? I had to delete Whatnot because it became a problem.
It's becoming a problem.
You know.
Every time that comes up on my feed, because I'm like, I know that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I just keep on scrolling.
So it's bad if you have a buying impulse, but you know,
do.
I feel you. But to sell stuff, man,
It's great for selling, huh?
Yes. Well, he's like, I made $1,000 in a day. Or
my
like
God.
4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
You're like, I'm one of those people that bought from them.
I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna need that 1,000 back.
And you know what? That's scary too, though, because like I see a lot of K-pop creators on TikTok. You know, they're like, pack orders with me, you know, and they'll go on live and they're packing all these orders, and I'm like, what if that happens to me? I'm like, I don't have the manpower to pack all these things
All these
that they're
orders.
because K-pop is so crazy. You can put a little sticker out there that you created yourself, you know, and people will be like, yeah, I want it. Won't even look at the price, won't anything. You know, and they'll be like, but I want 10 of them, you know, and I'm like, I don't have that manpower. So at the same time, I'm doing what I say not to do, is you kind of hold yourself back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, but that money would be nice.
Heck yeah.
Like,
You'd probably be one of the people that you're crying with a smile on your face because you got
As you're
orders to fill, but you can't fill them fast
like,
enough.
I love my customers.
And I'm like, I'm gonna have to hire somebody. And while you're saying, I was like, oh my god, the money's coming in. I totally understand, but I mean, that's the leap. That's the leap.
It is. It's because my sister had just asked me today. You know, we were talking about doing online stuff. She's like, we got to get into it. I'm like, I know. So we were talking
just
about
scared
it.
of what's gonna.
And that's what I told her. I'm like, man, that's scary. You know.
Yeah, because I'm like, what if you can't fill the orders? What if you can't? Now there's
because then you don't want those reviews to come in
Yes.
and be like, well, it took 6 weeks to get my order, and they said 2 weeks, you know, or whatever, you know, and.
But that's, you know, at that point, you know, where I guess you're waiting on stuff to come in so you can make the stuff. You know, that's beyond your control. You know, so hey, yes,
Yeah.
I know, I understand. You don't want to get those reviews, but at the same time, we're just like, man, we got a lot of orders to fill. We have a ton, man.
And
But
like this past weekend, you know, it was the first time I named them mini Magna Polas. But what I created was these little Polaroid looking pictures. They look like a Polaroid.
Okay.
And then I just put the picture of the idol in there. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. It's the first time. I don't know if it'll go. Sold out of them.
whoa,
And so
I need to see what those look like.
Yeah, I got to make more. So,
Yeah.
you know, people are like, well, I saw so-and-so with one. And I'm like, girl, I'm sold out. Like, sorry, you know. I'm like, next event, I'll have more. I promise, you know. And so that's one of the fears. I'm like, well, what if I do put it online and I get so many of these orders because I see it working
You're like, I
here.
have to
Yeah.
make
But
every
I'm
one
like,
of
because
these.
in social media, you know, on TikTok, you're not just catering to San Angelo. You're catering to everybody who sees your
yes,
It's like international.
yeah, you know, so I'm like, that's scary too.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, man, and that's, you know, and again, to make a product when you're making it yourself, because then you got them like, okay, well, if it does get that big, a certain product, then you have to kind of think of, do I keep creating it myself, or do I find a company that's going to create it for me? So that's going to cost a little bit more. Then you got to think, well, then I got to raise the price a little bit more.
yeah.
You know, but in order to keep with high demand, you sometimes have
sometimes
to
you
do
have to-
that.
you have to scale
know,
it up,
and
yeah.
so that's, you know, you as a small business owner, you're thinking of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
But like I tell everybody, once you start doing that, you know, you'll be really surprised the like suppliers that come out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
and it's just
Yep.
like, wow, man, I literally just started because a lot of people are like, I mean,
I don't know where to start.
I don't know where to start, and when I do start, how do I get it to go?
Yes.
I was like, bro, just
They come.
They
open
come.
your door and they'll start flooding in
Yeah.
because, hey, you know, Facebook does. If you start posting on Facebook, Facebook will share your stuff, especially because it listens to you. I don't care
It
what anybody
does.
says.
I say that too.
I don't care what anybody says, but there's somebody out there who's like, hey, somebody looking for products to help to distribute, and they're going to see your stuff. Facebook's going to market to them.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, man, let me send them a message real quick to see if they need any help.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, my God, you're a godsend
Yes.
for hitting me up when you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
don't
just
be
like,
afraid.
I
Like,
know.
it'll-
And I told myself that. I'm like, just do it because it worked. To me, I'm like, it's worked out for you so far.
Yes.
You know, like just keep going. But of course, everything's scary. But yeah, it's just getting over that scary, jump. It's like I tell people, you just got to jump off the cliff.
Yeah, you just gotta.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing a V-pop scenario?
At VPOP, I'm going on, I want to say that it's coming January will be my 3rd year.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So yeah, and I started really small. Like I said, just at the nada. When Frankie, my friends Frankie and Michael owned Dojo when they had they had it open. So I actually did my very first K-pop event there.
Okay.
And and again, small businesses helping small businesses. We reached out to them, like, hey, how much will you charge us to do an event there? And they're like, we're not going to charge you. Like, just
Come on, do it.
because then they knew it was going to get
People
their
in.
name out too,
Yeah.
and then it's like, are you sure? We even, I even said like, well, I'm going to get vendors to go along with me. I can charge them to set up their booths. We'll give that donation to you. Even at the end of the day, they were like, no, we don't want to like use it to your business. So it's the small business community
That's
around
awesome.
here is great.
It's great, yeah.
I haven't met anybody in small business that is
Yeah.
just horrible. That
Yeah.
where they're like, no, we don't want to help, or I
Yeah, that's what I'm
think
saying, man.
everybody
There's
is.
just this whole community is great. Like you think they're not like big conglomerates, They're not going to maybe be like, hold on, well, we're going to charge you for space.
Yeah.
No, every
Yep.
single one of them, especially small. You're right, small businesses.
small
You're just like,
business.
come on in.
Yeah.
The door's wide open.
Yep.
Bring all your customers.
Yeah.
Bring.
Even when that Go-Go-Gogi was first open, we went in there and we were like, hey, can we do a K-pop event in here? And we were like, it's a restaurant. They're going to tell us no. But we talked it up. We showed them pictures and videos from the events we had done. And they were like, why not? Let's try it. If it doesn't work, well, we just won't have you back, And no, they loved it. They're like, yeah, come back.
Yeah, no, that's
You
great,
know,
man. Because
so-
yeah.
But you just gotta go out there but it is scary though. Like I said, the first time I went to go talk to Blue Tiger, I was, I'm pretty sure I was gagging the whole way up there.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna say no. He's gonna say no.
Yeah, and then when you're talking to him, you're just like, "Did I just say that?" Then you start repeating yourself. And you're just like, "I'm sorry, I'm nervous." I know, I totally.
It's hard to
understand.
not
It's
to be
hard.
like that. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and
that's
I'm
just. I feel like that's just natural for most people to be
Yeah.
like. It's the fear of the
Their
unknown.
fear, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And fear
For
of
sure.
rejection.
Fear of
Nobody
rejection.
likes to be rejected either. 'cause
No,
it's like,
God, it's horrible.
because then you're like, oh, so my business idea sucks.
Yeah. It does, right? How that manifests. You're just like,
Yes.
it's me. It's
Or
me.
even-
It's like, no, it's not you. It's,
Or even when you have a bad slow day, where you're like, that's it, I'm done.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
over.
yeah. Right.
Like I didn't make any money today. I gotta quit. I gotta go back to work. And it's like, no, you gotta talk yourself.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
And then it's so crazy how it happens, because even sometimes when you're feeling your lowest, like this past weekend, like I said, we get people from all ages. But I had a girl. She tagged V-pop in her pictures that she took there, and I just put on there, which they're regulars. Her and her cousin come. And I was like, man, I just love you girls, because they danced out there and,
Okay.
just had a blast. And they're like, we love going to your events. And I was like, I love having y'all. I was like, me seeing y'all have fun, I was like, it just puts a smile on my face. Because I'm like, man, I helped these people come out of, because they drove from El Dorado, I think.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
yeah, so I'm like, oh, and I was like, man, I love you girls. Thank you for like always supporting me. Like that means the world to me. And then she posted like, she goes, since I've been going to your events, she's like, I've gotten more out of my shell and I feel more comfortable being me.
Yeah.
And to me, that was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we've all felt like an outsider at one point in our
yeah.
lives, where it's like, and so to me, now that I have a niece and a nephew, I always tell people, I'm like, man, if anybody ever hurts their feelings, I'm gonna, I'm gonna come after them, And so when you hear stuff like that, it's being a teenager is rough.
Oh yeah.
So when you hear a teen say that, like, you just made me feel comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And so to me, that I sent the screenshot to my friend, and I'm like, this just made me happy. I'm like, I don't care how much money I made that day. I'm like, this was what made it worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
It's
kind of
just
cool.
like-
you provided them that safe space where they can come do
Yep.
that. It's like,
yeah, and I
Exactly.
even talked to her parents. I'm like, man, I love your kids. I was one time when the dad came in and, spent money, because like I said, K-pop people will drop money like crazy.
Yeah, they will.
So he's like, man, I spent all this money, when they were walking out, and I was like, girls, make sure to thank Dad for one, bringing y'all to the event. Cause you're driving, it's El Dorado's still far, and spending money, his hard work earned money, I know a parent does it to make their child happy, but they're like, no, we'll thank them.
Yeah.
So that made me happy.
Dad.
It made me feel, so even like on days, where I'm thinking like, maybe it's not working out. The money's not coming in some days. Then you get comments like that and you're like, no,
right
it's working.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's working.
Oh man,
That's
that's
awesome.
cool. Yeah, just keep going that way. You'll continue to keep getting blessed.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
And then you said that, you've made a lot of friends just in that community alone.
Yes. Yeah, I had somebody
Come on,
driving
friends.
from Brownwood. I had a lady and her daughter coming from Brownwood. And it happens with another all the time too. Like, oh, we saw, your Instagram reel, or we saw, somebody that lives in San Angelo, my cousin, shared it and it reached out to San Antonio and now we're here,
Yeah.
and
That's awesome.
so that's
That is pretty cool.
Social media is so huge.
Yeah.
It sucks to do.
I totally understand, man.
And then you're looking back,
sucks.
especially if you're putting your own face in front of it, you
Oh
look
yeah.
back and you're
That's
like,
the scariest.
I look like a
Oh my god.
jerk.
Yeah. I know. Every time I see this video, and I'm like, don't slouch, man. I was like, you look horrible.
When we first started doing this, we were like, okay, audio only. We're not going to say our names. Like, I don't want nobody to know what we're doing.
I want to be Cobra. You be Nighthawk.
Like, wait a second. It's a podcast. We don't want nobody to know what we're doing. What are we doing then? Like, what do and then when we finally decided, like, all right, it's time. Like, we need to get out of our step out, and we're gonna have to get on video.
Got to reach people.
Got to.
Yep.
And so, and we just did it. And now it just seems like we've been doing it forever. Like
I
that,
know. Now I'm just like,
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
You get comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah.
it's second nature to you. And
Now we're mad. The lighting doesn't look right.
yeah. But that's like one of our main gripes. You're just like, oh, just a little stuff. Because I mean, we'd like to have the what's it called? Set the podcast up where I would like for people to get comfortable. I mean, no, really, and not an interviewee type of, Or I was just like, because I feel like I'm sure when you came here, you were like, oh my god,
yes.
what kind of podcast? What kind of questions are they going to ask? Because we get that all the time. We're like, what should I study up on? I was like, hey man, you can come and talk about aliens. You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care, because I mean, our conversations just. I mean, because we talk on the phone just about every day. And
There's something wrong with us.
Yeah. There's
Oh, I say that about myself all the time.
yeah, because our conversations go every way. Hey, Dave, did you hear that aliens exist?
Yeah.
Blah blah. Hey, and then we just start getting into the conspiracy theories, and I mean, it was basically that's the format we went to our podcast, and then it did kind of change a little bit because some of the people that we have in here are really interesting. They don't want to talk about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Some of them do want to talk
Which
about
I
ghosts.
love, by the way.
Oh, do you?
yeah.
Oh.
Love
Yeah. But it's just one of those where it's just like, hey man, it's just the unknown, It's just like, hey, well, something's gonna
I know.
tickle here and it's gonna be
Yes.
nice, But yeah, I hope you're comfortable.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told Tiffany, I was like, I think I'm a little bit nervous, but
Yeah.
I text my friends this morning, and because we have a group chat, and I was like, I had to take my anxiety meds last night. So I was just like, I'm an overthinker.
Yes.
So I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I know.
what if I
Yeah.
say something dumb, or what if I curse, or what if I,
Yeah. But, I mean,
Whenever you first came here, how we were just kind of sitting here talking, like that's kind of just our like to ease everybody, like even us too, because like
Yeah.
sometimes we're just
'cause
meeting
when
you
you're
for the
meeting new
first time.
people, it's like,
yeah.
well, are they going to be quiet? Are they going to talk? Are they going to,
Yeah.
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 I come in here every day nervous.
Yeah.
I have to blast the radio coming up here because it puts me in a mood.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm just gonna listen to music.
In the
while-
right headspace.
And that's why I
yeah.
feel music is important too. Like, and maybe I don't know because I grew up in the Mexican culture, so we grew up. Mom was cleaning house; she had the radio on loud.
Sunday
And
mornings.
yes.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it naturally came in. My very first love of music was the Doors. I even have them
love the
tattooed on
Doors.
my arm. Yeah, love the Doors. So I get a hyper fixation on a music or a show or whatever that really like touches me.
Okay.
So then I'll like deep dive into that. That's what happened with K-pop, because I went from, which I still love the Doors. Like I love everything Doors, Jim Morrison and all that stuff. Then went still loving music, then Bad Bunny came into my life. So then I went into hyper fixation on Bad Bunny, you know, and, you know, then again, stuff started happening, you know, then my little cousin was like, I like K-pop, you know, when we were getting together as a, you know, family meals or whatever, you know, she'd be like, I'm going to put my K-pop on your TV, you know? So it just started coming up on, you know, it messed up my YouTube algorithm. So I'm like, K-pop, you know, and I was those people at first where I'm like, these men look like girls. You know, like, why do you like
I
this?
get you.
They look like women, you know?
Yeah.
And then it kept popping up. One day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch it. I love my little cousin. I've always been close to her. You know, like I text her like she's one of my friends. So I'm like, I'm just going to watch it. I'm like, it's something that's important to her. I'm going to watch it, you know? And that was in a time where I was in a really dark place and they were making me laugh. Reading subtitles. Never thought I would be, you know, reading subtitles. So then it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm laughing. And then I'm like, all right, one more. It doesn't hurt. So it turned into like,
the whole thing.
because
Yeah,
that's another
cool,
thing
though.
K-pop groups do is they don't just do their music and do their concerts. They do variety shows.
Yes, they do.
So they'll put on little skits.
What? Okay.
Yeah, they
Yes.
do. And they're fun. Some of them are really
they're
funny.
so funny, you know, because you have these like 25 to 30-year-old men on these shows doing competitions and, you know, just doing all this funny stuff. And I was finding myself laughing again, you know, because I was just going through a dark place. I, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not want to be here. And I say all the time, I'm like, if it wasn't for the group that I like, Stray Kids, I'm like, I probably wouldn't be here. Because then it was like, well, I don't understand Korean, but let me listen to the lyrics. So I would Google the lyrics and it was, you know, so then I'm like, man, this is pretty, because they write their own stuff. And so they have hardships too, like everybody in the world, you know, so they put into lyrics.
Amongst
all
all the pressure they're on.
Yeah, you know, so it's like, oh, I can relate to that. And so people tell me all the time, but how do you understand it? And I'm like, well, you got to Google lyrics. You got to, you know. But
Some of it's in English. I mean, but.
Yeah, and a lot of the K-pop groups now, since they know it's becoming more worldwide, now they just naturally put
English
versions of it, you know, because it's getting so big.
That's actually smart. That's
That helped bring you out of your dark space.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's and I've talked to a lot of, you know, I call them Vizzies now. We came up with a fandom name because I hate calling a customer. I feel, especially when you make a connection with them and they keep returning to you, I don't like that word. You know, I like to, you know, my sister calls the Nada customers family. She'll always put like, hey, the Nada family, we got this going on, you know, because they're the reasons why we're still going. Yeah. You know, so I'd hate that word. So I even made it into a contest. I'm like, hey, let's come up with a fandom name, you know. So
I voted for Vizzies.
Yeah. So now I call them like Vizzies, you know, and it's just, you know, you grow attached to the people that support you, you know, so they're, you know, so sometimes some of those words, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. To me, you're more than a customer.
That makes sense.
Know?
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, and when I've had conversations with these teenagers or these adults that like K-pop, a lot of those stories are, oh, I found BTS when I was in a dark place, or I found Stray Kids when I was in a dark place, you know, and they got me out of it. And a lot of it helped because they do a lot of songs with mental health in mind, you know, and a lot of like self-love. Like it's, if you're different, who cares? Like love yourself, you know? Yeah. And so that's.
Oh man, I totally get that. Cause I was in a place like that and I would hear this self-love stuff and, you know, and I'm just like, turn this off. But just I realized that it was, dude, it wasn't them. It was me. It was, you know, I'm just like, you. I don't.
You don't want to be open to it.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, and I'm still not perfect. Like there's, you know, friendships that I've gained and then lost, and a lot of it might have been my fault, you know, but I don't try to dwell on that because I'm trying to grow. Like the person I was a few years ago, I look back and I'm like, you were a horrible person to people. You were not kind. You were, because I was mad at myself. I was a bitter person. You know, I hadn't found my happiness yet. Like even with when I started meeting some of these artists and even like the K-pop community, I started seeing like, wow, there's a lot of people that have mental health issues.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are alone.
Yeah. So when we get together and talk about it, I was like, oh wow, I was feeling angry but I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
So I was taking it out on people, you know. And when I was having these conversations with these other artists in the K-pop community, I'm like, oh, I've gone through that too, you know. So then you have somebody else to talk to about it. And, you know, I tell people all the time, like, you might still have your faults and you might still not be somebody's cup of tea. Mm-hmm. But in the end, you have to make yourself happy. Like, your own peace of mind is what's important at the end. Because I know there's people out there who are probably like, K-pop, no. We've had comments because I'll always post like on San Angelo 411, like to advertise, you know, it'd be like, K-pop, that's dumb, or, you know, blah, blah. When I did the Taylor Swift event, we got so much hate for it because it's like, how can you follow her? She's, you know, she's an old woman doing this, blah, blah, blah. Just the comments we received it. But I was like, you know what? I'm like, but we had so many people come out to it because there was people that loved Taylor Swift. You know?
I mean, you also got to stand the mindset of some of these people. You know, the reason that they're hating is like it's the whole hurt people.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And you're just you're projecting. Yep. You know, until you find your people.
Your people. Yep.
You'll continue to project your negativity.
Yeah.
I don't know. I totally understand that. And I don't even know if we got comments because I'm like, I don't even read the comments.
Yeah.
I don't even go to the comment section.
When the very first time I did a TikTok live, when we finally had a lot of followers, I was just like, oh my gosh, what? Because I've seen the comments. I've watched people's lives before, you know, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, just do it. I was doing a tutorial on how to make keychains, you know, and I was like, just do it. And at first I was like, I don't want to look up. But then I had people engaging and it was just like, well, you got to engage with them if you want your business to grow. So I'm like, man, you got to suck it up. It's not but running a business is definitely not for the weak.
No,
it's not.
No, it's not.
Anybody who says they can do it, I'm like,
go ahead.
Go ahead. You'll find out real quick. It takes a lot of ego check. It's a lot of lot of inner reflection.
You've done it. Like I had this conversation with one of the ladies at the event this weekend. Because she was telling me, like, man, you've done really great. You know, it's been awesome watching you grow on social media. And I was like, but you know what's so scary? Because sometimes you're so proud of yourself that you want to boast. And you want to be like, oh, I did this. Or, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I don't want people to think that I'm talking myself up and that I'm just like, oh, I'm this badass. Like, follow me. You know, so it's like, so you got to find the line of talking nicely about yourself and being proud of what you've created and what you've done and the relationships you've made, but still make it sound genuine and nice. You know, but at the same time, I've also learned that some people, no matter how nice you say it or how, they're going to be like, oh, she's showing off again. You know,
that's just those people though.
It's just,
you know,
they're projecting. Again, that's all it is. Because I'm like, I don't understand how you can hate somebody, you know? Where it's like that doesn't make any sense. What's it taking away from you? You know,
you're mad because they're doing something with their life.
But like I said, you're never going to get hate from someone doing more than you.
That's true.
You're never.
It's true.
It's the people that are doing less than you that are hating on you.
And it's hard, man. It's like I said, I was telling y'all earlier. There's sometimes I don't go to sleep till 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, because I'm the one making my own things. Right. So I have to, you know, my jobs are, I watch my niece and nephew during the day. They get picked up at 6 o'clock, you know, when mom and dads get out of work. And then I take a couple of hours break. And then I'm like, all right, now I got to make for my business, you know, and it's
your inventory.
For your inventory. And this past weekend, you know, now I have to think like, oh my gosh, my next event is in July. Well, I got to start now because it was such a busy event that I sold out almost of all my stuff.
Wow.
That it's like, man, now I have to do it again.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I would see people, and I'm not a big Kim Kardashian fan, but, you know, I would always hear her say, I got to respect her as a businesswoman. I'm not going to take that away from her. But one of the things I did hear her say one time is like, you are working so much, but if it's something you love, it's not really work.
Yeah.
You know, and she got a lot of hate for it because people were like, well, I don't just work. I also take care of my children, or I do this, I do that. And I'm like, I think people twisted it. What she said, you know, and of course, because she's not liked by many people. So people just like to do that. And I was like, she's right.
Yeah.
Like I could easily be like, oh, it's 10 p.m. I should go to bed.
Yep.
But if I'm going to bed, I'm not making my things.
Exactly.
And then I'm not.
And those are the people where it's like, I don't have the time. I don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah.
You do. You're just not prioritizing the stuff you
Yep.
want to do like she did.
Yeah.
You know, granted, I'm sure she had help. She's got a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, but at the same time, we all started somewhere.
Somewhere. Yep.
Everyone's got to start somewhere. And if your excuse is I don't have time, or what's that word? Whether you can or you can't. You're right.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
You're right.
And I think that's what we were talking earlier about Gary Vee. That's why I love following him. And it's so funny. He always pops up when I'm having that. This is too much. It's too much work. It's too much. I can't do it. And then he'll come up and, say something. We're like, you're right, Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Like,
just just another hour, Gary.
Just one more hour. And that's what,
funny.
I think about, like, why I love podcasts so much. Because it's not something I have to watch while I'm
you can listen.
making my things. I can just listen, and so podcasts are important. I love podcasts.
Yeah. I love them over the simple fact that you're taking away, you're stripping it back down to it's nothing. You're taking away the production. You're taking away the scripts. You're taking away everything, and you're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Getting to know somebody.
Yeah. When someone listens to this, you'll be like, oh,
This is that person.
This is that
really
person.
are.
Yeah. You just strip it down. You strip it all the way down. There's not, okay, well, all right, on this next segment, we're going to cover this.
Yeah.
Just like, it's just so scripted.
production.
It's production. You bypass the human part of it, you know? So I think that's what, of course, COVID-19, during COVID, I think that's what helped. Because people are like, you got to listen to it. You're like, oh, you know what? The media, the stuff we're getting on the news, you're getting all the world stuff, but I'm not getting stuff that's fulfilling.
Yeah.
We saw how it was, where it's like everything's dark. They're not covering anything, nothing positive. It's bringing you down. Like I was telling you, there's a point where I have to stop. I have to turn off
the radio.
Turn off the radio.
Turn off everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn off all the new stuff and just, hey, I'm gonna listen to music today. This is all I'm gonna do. Because it's just too much. I'm like, I'm sitting there in my truck when I'm like I'm driving. I'm like, they're always coming to an end.
Yep.
And it's just like, it just sucks.
And then if you watch just one of those things, oh man, you're just bombarded with it.
Yes.
It won't stop.
It
It's
will.
like, okay, I
Yep.
just need to shut it all
Yeah,
off.
I have to do that with the news all the time. I know we have to watch it to be informed, but sometimes it gets so
It's too much.
too much, where I'm just like, no, not gonna watch it.
And then I'll come across a podcast where I'm just like, guys talking about,
Everything.
everything. And his, mate, you're getting to the nitty gritty about the dude. You're just like, man, I'm over here complaining, and this dude had it way worse than I did.
Yeah,
And he actually
I love
made something.
what y'all are doing too, because one of the things that's important to me as a small business owner is I want people to get to know me, whether it's good or bad, whether I left a good impression or a bad impression. I want you to leave with something like, oh, that's the type of person she is. But when you're having, like, let's say an event or an art show, you get so busy that sometimes you miss talking to somebody. Somebody can walk out the door that you didn't get a chance to connect with.
Yes.
Like this past weekend, 2 girls were leaving, and I didn't see them come in, but I saw them as they were leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, girls, I didn't see y'all come in. Thank you for coming by. I gave them their freebies, and they were like, oh, we had fun, blah, blah. But I still felt bad about it.
Yeah.
Because this was the second time I had seen them. So I was like, I reached out to them on Instagram. I'm like, hey, girls, I did not see y'all come in. I'm sad I didn't get a chance to talk to you. So these podcasts are important because as a small business owner, you want to talk to every single person that comes in through your door.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're so busy.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh man, did they leave upset because I didn't talk to them? And I've had somebody tell me that before. They're like, the very first event we came to, you didn't really talk to us. You were talking to, but it was a busy event. And I apologized for them.
Yeah.
So that's how this is important, what y'all are doing, because
Get to know who
we
you
want to talk to
are.
everybody. As a
Yes.
small business owner, we want, whether it's good or bad, we want to know what you felt about our business and us,
Yeah. Like we try to cover the whole life spectrum, because I've had people call out, what it do out in the middle of the store, and I'm sure there's some people that were just like, he just didn't talk to us, stuff like that. If you listen to at least multiple of our podcasts, we talk about all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then you get to realize that, hey, he didn't see me, or he was busy, maybe he was having a bad day. why was he rude or stuff like that. And I'm not like I was ever rude to anybody.
Yeah.
But yet, you never know.
The face sometimes, especially if you got something in your mind.
Yes.
You're going through the grocery store, gotta find the soap.
Oh, yeah.
So you're walking like this,
am
and
the
people are like,
worst.
"Oh, I
Yeah.
wanted to
You're
go
the-
say
I
hi
am
to
the
him, but
worst.
he looked mean."
I'm in my zone. I'm like, all right, coffee, water, milk, eggs. Okay, let's go.
Yes, it just go, I want to get in and out. So when you see me out and about, and I look like there's something on my face. When you or something's wrong, he's like, "Oh, what's his problem?"
Yeah.
When you listen to it, it's like, I want you to understand, I'm just human. I shouldn't. If I recognize you, if you call me, "Hey man, I looked at what episode," I'm like, "Hey man, I appreciate it."
Yes.
But if I'm like, if I'm dead set, I'm gonna go grab some eggs, grab them, and I'll right back out.
We had
It's
to
not,
go.
Yes.
yeah. It's not that I was trying to ignore you, because we've had some
I
guests.
walked past my parents before in the grocery store.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hello." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Mom, what are y'all doing? Yeah, what's going on? What are y'all doing?"
Like just
Step out of
yeah. Like Friday, I was at the Up and Coming Scholars there in ASU, and I'm sitting there, trying to listen to everything coming in, because I have a problem. Like in group sets, like I do. In group sets like that, when someone's talking, there's a speaker, I'll pass out.
Oh yeah.
So I'm trying to stay engaged here, right? And I didn't look anywhere. This whole time, Inks was sitting on the row behind me, right? So I felt bad, because I'm like, it's not that I didn't notice. When he got up, my son said something, and I turned like this, and I happened to look up, and there was Inks. I was like, "Hey, what's going on, bud?" And I usually wasn't like, I'm set here. I'm dead set here. And I hope he didn't feel like I was just like, not gonna brush him off.
Yeah.
I shook his hand. I was like, "Hey, bud," blah blah blah. And I kind of, good to see you, stuff like that. And then boom, focused. Because I'm like, I'll fall asleep. God, my wife hates it. She's like, "How can you?" They're explaining stuff to me. You just fall right to sleep. I was like, "You don't understand. I have a condition where I don't
My
know.
son
If
does the same thing.
yes, I don't know if it's ADD or ADHD.
It's gotta be something.
It's got to be something.
Yeah,
'cause-
because I'll do the same thing.
yeah, I'm just like, it was like we were literally sitting down 5 seconds and you fell asleep. I was like, I can't do
As
these
soon as
kind
he
of
started
settings.
talking,
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah, I
just
just,
out.
I'm out. I'm sitting there. I'm like this.
That's funny.
Dude, I have to, like, sometimes I'll yawn or I'll slap my leg. And I'm like, "God, wake up. What's wrong with you?" So, Inks, if you're listening, man, God,
He didn't mean it.
yes, I didn't mean it. I didn't.
And I mean, and even too, like, you don't see. I try to, especially if they're regulars, to be like, try to remember the face, try to remember the name, try to, but sometimes if they, like I said, if they walk by you and you didn't notice them that one time or whatever, and if you do see them out, it's like, please let me know, because I don't want to be rude to you.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a rude person,
I'm not
I
a
promise.
rude person, or now it's, I guess you don't realize. I tell my sister all the time, like, I don't ever realize how much we mean to a community until I've gone out, because I'll be like, "Oh, you're Veronica from V-Pop Scenario," or "Oh, you're just your sister from the Nada," and it's just like, people know me. So it's like, I tell my
That's
friends, I'm like,
what-
"Am I a celebrity?" No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
That's
Yes,
what-
You
you
don't
are.
know them, but it's
Yes.
like, well, obviously you either know them from the event or you know them from the nada, but it's like, so at the same time now it's like, man, I do got to be smiling every time I go out.
Yeah.
Because somebody may
It
have walked in
reflects.
your doors. Yeah, because they could have been a quiet person that just didn't want to talk, period. But they love being in your place because they feel comfortable.
Yes.
That's
That's what Fat says, man. I don't want to get too dark here, because it's not really dark. It's it's kind of a cool thing when you go to funerals, and
What?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
yeah, but I pay attention. I'm like my wife. I'm a people watcher, and when you go to these funerals, you see all these people that show up, and you're just like, I look. That's my thing. I look at everybody, and I'm like, and I try to get this, because that's where I'd like, and then I think about it in my own position the day I pass away. I'd like for them to be a room full of people that say, "Hey man, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Hey man, he was such a nice guy. He was
And for a good reason.
for a good reason,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I sit there and I look, and I'm like, damn, this fool touched all these people. They took time out of their day to be here,
Yeah.
So usually I only go once, because I'm like, like to the wake or something, and I see a room full of people, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool, And sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, Oscar, you don't talk to enough people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't. There's people out there that you know. Hey, you know, maybe you can change something. Just like all these people in here, this one dude that's sitting in that casket touched all these people.
All these people,
You know, and it might have been just a small conversation, might be something
you could say could change somebody's life.
somebody's life, man.
It
and
can.
this,
It really can.
And this guy did it. This guy, whatever it is that he did, whatever conversations that he had, and I'm just like, that's
and I
cool.
think too, I think if you've gone, like, if you've already had like something dark in your life happen, I know I do it a lot. When I was in my dark place, I don't want people to feel how I felt, because I remember I felt so horrible. I felt like people didn't love me, even though I knew they did.
Yes.
It's just your mind telling you. When you're going through depression, your mind is telling you you're worthless, nobody loves you, and why are you here? So when I do come across people, especially people that, started off as customers and then become friends, and I see them and I hear their stories, I'm like, I don't want to be that person that makes you feel that way.
Yes.
And sometimes it's hard because sometimes words just come out of our mouths. We're all human. Sometimes we say the wrong thing. Sometimes we may not even know we're offending them because what might be okay for us might be offensive to them.
Right, yeah.
And you don't know. Nobody knows that.
No.
And I've done that before. But I try to make it a point where if I see you get a little quiet or backing off, I'm like, hey, did I say something? Like, let me know, because I want to be corrected. Like, this friendship matters to me enough to where if I did something wrong, I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lose that friendship or that connection that I had with them or whatever. And I think a lot of people don't do that.
Yes.
Because they're just like, oh, you stopped talking to me? Oh, well, but if you really want them in your life and you want them to
You'll make
continue,
the effort.
you try to make them feel good, But at the same time, even when you try your hardest to make people feel good, if they don't want you to make them feel good, they're gonna find wrong in anything you say, whether it was good or positive or
Well, luckily, a lot of my friends know that I got word diarrhea, mouth that, because it'll just come out. And I'm like, my bad, I didn't mean to say that.
But you know what? I don't know y'all's age, but I'm 46 years old. I grew up in a time where, not making excuses for my generation, but we didn't get offended from a lot of things. Like, even me, like, if you said stuff to me, I'd be like, you're joking. Like, I knew you were joking.
Yes.
And now I feel like a lot of that, and for good reason a lot of the time, we watch a lot of what we say now because we don't know
we grew
what
up
can hurt people.
in a more hard-nosed time where people were just kind of like, because I'm 44, you're 42.
42.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty close, but it was just different.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just let it roll off you.
Yeah. That's what our parents told. I'm like, oh, somebody told you that? Oh, what? Like, why do you even care? Like,
why is it bothering you?
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. It's like, and now that I hang out with a bunch of different aged people, a lot of them be like, how could you say that? That's really mean. Or I'm like, oh, no, I didn't mean it in a mean way. Like right away. I'm like, but now when they tell me this, I'm like, oh, I can see how that can be offensive. But I wouldn't have known if nobody told me.
Yeah.
Because we did grow up in a time where if we said something, everybody would laugh, or everybody would be like, like, oh, well, who cares? We're still friends. It's just like, but even like talking people with politics, I feel back then it didn't matter. Like, if you said like, oh, your side sucks, well, your side sucks too,
Yeah.
But we were still friends at the end of the day, and now people get so hurt over, and some people have their reasons, but I still have friends that didn't vote the same way I voted, and then there's some that I don't, but because some people came at it a little bit better, and it's just like,
well, they come from different perspectives.
Yeah, and it's your lifestyle. Like, just because I voted this way and you voted that way, if you're gonna hate me for that, I'm sorry, but
I miss the days where, like what you said the last podcast, it's like, I can vote for him, I can vote this way, I can vote that way, but we get to keep that to ourselves. I shouldn't have to tell you who I voted.
Yeah.
It was my right.
My vote. It's my right.
Yeah. There was actually, I remember a time when we just didn't talk. Like, people was like, we don't talk about politics and religion here. Just leave that at home. You're at somebody's house
Yeah.
or wherever, you know.
But
you
sometimes
leave
I
that.
feel too like people bring it up to fight.
I think that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
I'm like,
so
what
too.
do you care?
Yeah, I think so too. Or people.
Because I'm like you. I'm a person with word vomit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying my opinion because I want your feelings hurt. You asked me a question.
Yeah,
sure.
It's gonna come out.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't want to know, if you knew you were gonna be offended, why did you ask me for
Right.
my
Yeah.
opinion in the
Right.
first place?
They wanted to fight.
Because I do have word vomit. You know.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh, you're willing to ask. I'm automatically gonna think like, oh, you must not be somebody that offends easily.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. And it's just
But they
sometimes
pick
it's not that.
Yeah, no, sometimes it's not like that at all. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I do miss those days where it was just easier. You know, there wasn't a whole fighting. There wasn't the whole all this BS, man.
Yeah.
Which, of course, I mean, hey, I granted, we do have somebody in the White House that was his whole still. That was his whole. I mean, he literally started off with a TV show.
Yeah.
You know, The Apprentice, where that's his whole thing. The guy's an actor. You know, guy, actor, businessman, whatever you want to call him. You know.
But it's just so weird to me that people, and I'm going off of like K-pop because I see it in, like I was telling y'all earlier, that these K-pop idols, sometimes their fans feel like they own them because they spend so much money on them.
Oh yeah.
So if they go out and get a wife or a girlfriend, or you know, they're caught doing something that aren't in the K-pop rules, they'll end up protesting against them. They'll ask the company that signed them, like, get them off the group, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of that has to do too, where it's like, but why are you worshiping someone that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you feel they're supposed to do something to make you as an
happy,
individual happy.
Right.
Because I voted
So
for
it's
you.
not
Because
them,
I
and they
gave
don't
you my
want-
vote. Why aren't you saying what I like?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
And oh
bro, they're
man,
human
oh
too.
my God. You gotta put the two and two together. I voted for you. You shouldn't be talking to this other guy. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, we're a government, bro.
Yeah.
You know, he shouldn't be talking to Chuck Schumer. He shouldn't be talking. Oh, look at him, he's talking to Putin. You know, Putin's puppet and stuff. I'm like, these are world leaders. You know, they have to talk to each other,
Talk
right?
to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know
true.
why I
It's
never
like-
put it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It's true though.
Where it's like, I
And it
voted for you, so you
happens.
shouldn't. Why are you doing? You know,
People are emotionally invested in
Yes,
There you go.
emotionally
Yeah.
invested.
I'm like, for what, dude?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I guess that's the other thing that annoys the hell out of me because I'm like, you know, the other side they have good ideas. You know, we got
Yeah,
good
it's
ideas.
good to talk it
Yeah.
out.
I
you
don't
know?
understand. So we can't agree with any of these good ideas because they're on the other side of the other side
Or
of
the world
of the
or
world.
whatever.
or the
Yeah.
other side of politics. I'm
Yeah,
like,
or
this
yeah,
is
even the politics.
Yeah, this is ridiculous because
Yeah.
you know this policy is good and it'd be good for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna say, hey, no, we're not gonna listen to the Democrats.
Yeah.
Or we're not gonna listen to the Republicans because of
He had a good idea,
XYZ.
but too bad he's on the wrong side.
yeah. And I'm like, so we're not gonna talk about it. I was like, oh, my.
And, you know, like it's so funny how being a fan of K-pop, I find connections out like in the real world. But you'll have like sometimes I'll go into comments, you know, where it's like, you know, like I said, my group is Stray Kids, so I'll go into their content, you know, and I'm like, oh, let me see the comments, and then I'll see people fighting where it's like, oh, I'm a Blink, which is fans of another group, you know, where it's like, well, I'm a Stay, you know, and so they'll start fighting in the comments each other. And then they'll see them out like in public, like if they're at a fashion show or whatever, and they're best friends. They're all friends. I'm like, so you're fighting over, well, my group is better than your group.
yeah.
But in the end, they're friends.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
fighting for anything. And it's the same out in the real world.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they hate, you know, we're over here hating and fighting in the comments, but they still got to talk to each other
Yeah.
because they run in the same
That's
circles.
funny.
They gotta,
That's actually that comment I put. Oh, keyboard warriors, we're fighting this online
yes.
battle.
And I'm like,
That's
so I'll
funny.
sit there just laughing at comments and I'm like, they're not ever going to see you, you know, because the same with politicians, same with religious leaders. We can put all the comments in the world. They're not going to see us. We're really,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm like, so why are you fighting?
Yeah.
Like, why are you fighting? It's already done deal. Like,
I think some people just find it fun.
To
Like there's
fight,
this
yeah.
dark mass on the comment section where people are just going after each
and
other.
for
Oh, yeah.
everything, you know, you can see somebody. I don't know if you've seen it. It makes me laugh because it's an Amish woman. She's just teaching people how to cook, and the comments in there are like, I can't believe you let, because she says in one of the videos, like, oh, I'm not Amish anymore. I left that, but this is how I cook. And so I'm like, well, how dare you? How dare you leave your,
I know,
And
it's
like,
horrible,
like,
bro. Yeah.
And she's like, dude, I'm just trying to teach people how to make a freaking hamburger steak patty.
Yeah. And
it's insane. So
People can change, and it's their it's their prerogative.
Yeah, but it's people's problem, man. They got this narrative. I'm like, you shouldn't change because this is what you are.
Or when people lose weight, when Lizzo started.
Oh, the hate she got for losing weight.
And I'm like, so you're mad because she wanted.
Oh, now she thinks she's better.
Yeah. She thinks she's better than me because she lost weight.
She's like, what is all this, body positive that she was talking about?
You can still be body positive.
Yes.
And be big, skinny, what? I don't get it.
If I had Lizzo's money, I'd be skinny because I'd hire a coach. Have somebody cook for me and, train me. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, I'm just like, Bull them another, please. Yeah. I was like, we have to work around the stuff that I like to eat.
I know. It's horrible. It's horrible,
yeah. I just don't get people, but hey, what are you gonna do?
And you know what? There was a time where a few months ago where somebody had posted on Instagram, and I don't know if it was like trolls or what, but I laugh at it now. But it's like, because the pictures in the comments, one was of, I never watched it, but it was a picture of the lady from My 600-Pound Life.
Okay.
And I knew right away. But at the same time, as a small business owner, you can't react because then your other people are going to be like, well, look how mad she got because they criticized her product.
Yeah.
So it's like.
People hold that against you.
Yeah. So I'm like, so at the same time, I'm like, well, is this a troll or is this really a customer?
You do kind of have to be careful. That's true.
That was upset of the product that didn't want to use their real name, because they probably also didn't want it, So at the same time, I'm like, man, I could sit here and be like, what do you mean my product sucked?
Right.
But so all I did was like, well, I don't know if this is because they had no followers. They had that fake
Oh, it's a
picture.
troll. Yeah.
So I was just like, whatever. But I don't want my customers to be like, well, she's not going to refund me if my stuff breaks. So I offered it in there. And I was like, this probably is a troll. But I'm like, hey, if you want to bring me the products back, I'll gladly replace them or I'll give you your money back. Like,
no.
Kill
them with kindness. That's it.
I'm like, that's important to me. Then a few days later passed. And another name also with a fake picture. It was like a Star Wars thing. The same thing. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I bought so many stuff. And I was like, I told my friends, I'm like, I know these are trolls. I'm like, but you know what?
Where my mind goes? My mind goes, I know this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever this is in my circle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's where my mind goes. Yeah. I'm like,
that's where my mind went to. And I don't know if wrong, And then, I had a friend who's like, well, I can easily find out, how to find out. I'm like, I don't want to know. Because I don't need to know. It's like, all I'm going to do is offer them a refund. If they want to bring me the products back, I'll gladly, and I've had people do that, where it was like, hey, my keychain broke or whatever. I'm like, girl, bring it back. I'll fix it. No. This past weekend, my friend, she was like, man, I've had these for months and I don't know why my earrings broke. Or I was like, girl, I'll replace them. Like, I don't mind because I want to leave you with a positive thing, And so the comments kept going, but all I kept saying was like, look, girl, I can either give you your money back or I can replace them. Like, that's your two choices. But I was telling my friends, I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are trolls.
I mean, so when you offer it, bring it back in and I'll refund your money, and they don't show up.
Yeah.
Clearly, they were just
like, oh, come on.
Yeah. So I was just like, whatever. But
or they do show up, you get to meet your accuser.
So you're the one.
As a small business owner, you kind of just got to eat your feelings and be like,
oh, you have to.
Sure.
Yeah. I want to tell you, like, there's no way my product could have broken, but okay. No, I'm just kidding.
It's perfect.
Man, it's better to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
And not
for sure.
And so it did give me anxiety because I'm a real anxious person. Yeah. So for a few months, it did give me anxiety, and I was like, I don't want to post anything. I don't want to post it because I'm like, what if those trolls do come back and keep posting on every single?
Oh, you're like, everybody's seeing these trolls.
Whether we like it or not, we're being watched.
Oh yeah, for
sure. You're not only being watched by customers, you're being watched by other small businesses, you're being watched by artists, you're being watched by communities that are like volunteers or just like you're constantly being watched.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are watched waiting for that slip up. And so it's hard, you know, and I'm sure I'll have it, you know, like I said, I'm human,
Yeah.
you know, and I may have hurt people's feelings because I'm sure maybe somebody has gone to my events and been like, this was dumb. I'm never coming back, you know, and it sucks.
Yeah, but those people were mad when they left the house anyways, though. It was like, how could you be mad at an event you drove to?
Yeah.
You know, I was like, you came here, you sourpuss. You know, why are you mad?
Yeah.
You know, go out and buy something. Yeah. No,
It's hard, you know. You want your old, and that's what I always say. I'm like, I always want my old me to come out where I didn't care who I hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I was ready to just let it all out and give you a piece of my mind. And now I'm like, and not only that, like I have a niece and nephew and my 16-year-old cousin, like even them when they'll go out, you know, my cousin will text me like, oh, so-and-so said they saw you at blah, and that you were really nice to them or whatever. And I'm like, well, dang, now I really can't be me because now you have these kids that are looking up to you.
yeah.
And if you say the wrong word, you know, you don't want somebody in the community to go to them like, I met your cousin. She was a total bitch, you know, like, because then they're going to feel ashamed and it's rough.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I totally understand. There's somebody that gets a lot of hate that I know personally, and I'm just like, just let her be. Who cares? You know, there's a lot of hate. And I'm just like, that's just I don't understand. So let her post what she's gonna post. Yeah. You know, it's not bothering you any.
And if you don't like it, block it. That's what I do. Yeah. For my peace of mind, if I see something, and I've even done it to friends where I'm like, I'm sorry, like this is messing with me and my mental health. Yeah. I don't want to see it anymore. I quietly back off, walk away.
Doesn't Facebook have that thing where you can like snooze somebody for 30 days?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And you can even follow them where it won't even notify them. Like you'll still be friends and their stuff just won't pop up.
Okay.
You know, it's just like, just do that. Like, why? But some people like to be upset and they'll watch it. Like they become obsessed.
Yeah,
they like to engage. It's like, oh man, you just.
What's he gonna say next?
Yeah. There was a lady that used to irritate me because I'm one of those. I'm going to be honest. I've been one of those people. She was a huge content creator, but I was finding that I was going to her content to watch it because she was do makeup tutorials. I would go and watch it every day just to be mad because I'm like, you're such a fool. Like you don't even know how to do your makeup. Like I'm such a professional at mine, you know. But then I caught on and I'm like, she's not even in my hometown. Like, why am I getting so mad at her and her whatever?
Yeah. She has no real effect on you.
Yeah, she had no effect on me. It was just me. Like, she was just irritating me. So then I was like, I got to block her because I'm like, the only one that's getting affected is
you.
Me.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, she doesn't even know I exist in this world.
It's crazy how some people would get famous just because of that. Like this one that made me laugh at Astrid Trevino.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, man, all the hate she was getting. And some of it rightly so.
I could not look away from that.
No.
I did not like her, but anytime something came up, I'm like, let me get the tea.
I want to watch this car wreck.
Yeah. You know? It's like, I'm just waiting for the live where she's getting arrested or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's
I don't want to miss out on that.
But it's something. It's just, people just feed on it, man. Some of the things are entertaining, other stuff's not.
Yeah.
You know, some of them make it easy.
Yeah, some of it makes it really
real easy. Like I'm sure we say some stuff. People are like, "No, I'm not listening no more."
Oh, I'm sure.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, hey, it's just what
Can't
it is.
cater to everybody.
No. That's. I was telling my friends this past weekend because we were making freebies for a concert we're going to, and I told them I was like, "Man, I try really hard to get people to like me because nobody likes to be disliked."
Yeah.
You know, I was like, but I think I've finally running a small business has finally made me realize, like, you can't please everybody.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You just can't. It's hard.
There's no way.
No.
Yeah, so I'm slowly letting that go where I'm just like, you know what? If you like me, cool. If you don't,
you'll drive yourself crazy trying to do that.
And that's what I was doing because I was scared to post on my social medias for a long time because I had that anxiety because I'm like, well, what if these are real customers or they could just be trolls or it could be somebody that knows me and just doesn't like me for whatever reason. And I was letting it get to me. But I was like, man, these people don't pay my bills. These
Yeah.
people. So, but it did take me a while to get back into like, you know what, just post. And even every once in a while, I'm like, I'll see a comment. Like if somebody makes a comment, I'm like, oh my gosh, is it gonna be them again? You know, and it's like I'm scared to look.
Yeah.
It says, what it do, guys, again?
That's hilarious. Oh, man, this was so much fun.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fun. I had fun.
I'm
It was
glad
nice.
you did.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for coming
Like I
on.
said, I was a little nervous at first,
Yeah.
but yeah, like if y'all want to come check out the art show this
Oh,
weekend,
absolutely.
yeah, it'll be David Lynch theme. We're gonna have cherry pies and coffee for everybody, and
Man,
part of the theme, and yeah.
Yeah, well, drop some links, man. Let us know
Yeah.
where we can
Yeah, where
find
can
you.
we find you?
The Nada is on Facebook. I believe it's the Nada Artisan Boutique. And then on Instagram, it's the nada.tx for the art show. And then V-Pop Scenario on all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
It's just V-Pop Scenario all together. So
Cool.
what time is it this weekend? What time does it
I
start?
believe it's 6 to 10.
6 to 10?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it'll be nighttime. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's going to be nice.
is gonna be
Instead of
good.
being at this
Yeah.
100-degree heat.
Yeah.
We got air conditioner. We got AC, okay?
Nice, nice. Well, thanks, guys, for listening. And remember, go check out the Nala and V-Pop.
Scenario, yeah.
V-Pop Scenario. And, hey, we'll catch you on the next one.
Yes,
What
thank you
it
for
do?
having me, guys.
All right, thank you. What it do?